This stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. Just like me.
Las Vegas. Access Vegas.
This stuff will make you a goddamn.
You.
Are we on yet? Because I don't see me. All right. Cool. Hey,
All right.
welcome everybody. We are here, Access Vegas Live. Welcome, guys. We are
back.
We're getting close to being able to call this election here pretty soon. And then once we do that, the riot should start around 11 p.m., 11:30.
Yes.
And then afterwards,
Antifa
maybe
has been alerted.
Maybe thermonuclear war around 2 a.m. is probably when we're going to get to that. So welcome, guys. We're so happy to have everybody. We've been gone for like a month. We've had a lot of exciting people that we've been trying to talk to come on the show. And I know these last couple of weeks have been very stressful for a lot of people with this election coming up. And so we wanted to make some people laugh. So let me introduce our guest today. First, she's from San Francisco. She's a content creator. She's in bottle service. She's a student, and it's Emily. Emily, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
There she is, Emily. All right. She is from Israel. She's a model, and she's training to be a realtor. It's Mia Ventura. Mia?
Hi, nice to be here.
Welcome, Mia. Awesome. She's in bottle service. She's from Ohio. It's Nikki. Welcome, Nikki. It's your first time on the show.
Yeah, hi, thank you.
Ohio.
Nice. All right. She's from Dallas, Texas. She's a trophy wife, and you'll never believe this. She's a Trump supporter. It's Jolie. How you doing, Jolie?
Hey, how are you?
Nice. Grab the microphone, Jolie.
There you go.
There you go. She's an adult entertainer from Utah. She's a poker player. It's Alina. Hey, what's going on, Alina?
Hello.
Good to have you back. And he is from Los Angeles. He's a men's weight loss coach.
Nice.
He has a men's weight loss coaching company. It's Sean Su. What's going on, Sean? How you doing, man?
What up? What up?
Sean, hold on. Before we go on, I have to explain to them. Sean, we met at Ty Lopez's event, and you told me in your early 20s you did what?
I got a vasectomy and put my sperm in a bank.
Yeah.
Guys, when he told me that, I said, I don't care what it takes. We have got to have you on the show, bro. We have got to have you. In your
That's
20s,
why.
you did this. You're on your 20s, you did this. Sean, just grab the mic. You just grab the mic and bring it to you.
26.
Okay, now let me ask you something. How much money do you have? How much do you have wagered on this election tonight?
I just put another $250,000, so I'm at $1.8 million.
Oh my
$1.8
God.
million that you're betting on there. What site are
That's
you
why
using?
I can't take my eyes off this.
What site are you using about $1.8 million?
I mean, I got to go with the winner, Trump, right
No,
here.
I mean,
What
which
site? Yeah,
Site?
how are you
What
betting?
website?
Personal bookie.
Oh, you got a bookie. Okay, nice. I love it. I
It
love
is
it.
Las Vegas.
And also, our first time having us on here, she's a hair colorist from California. It's Eden. Welcome, Eden.
Hi.
Thank you. Now, there's one other thing that's very special about Eden. Eden is a liberal. Let's give her a big round of applause. Yes. We tried for weeks to find a single liberal. Guys, I have been trying forever. I have messaged so many women, and none of them, like all I could find were Trump supporters. And here's the thing. Here's what's scary about it. Number one, obviously, if you don't know this, I talk to guys who are Trump supporters and are like, I don't know anyone who's voting for Kamala Harris. And when I talk to people who voted for Kamala Harris, they're like, I don't know anyone who's voting for Donald Trump. I need you guys to understand. The social media algorithms put you in an echo chamber. They used to do it like you used to do it deliberately on your own. And now they do it because what happens is if you live in an echo chamber, you keep coming back to the platform over and over again.
Mhm.
So one thing that I would recommend you guys do is step out of your echo chamber. We're going to have some, we're going to play some Scott Galloway quotes and we're going to play some stuff from Richard Reeves because these guys are political progressives. I want to listen to people who don't agree with me. Because if you don't do that, then you start having a half view of the world. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like when you start thinking, like I don't support Kamala Harris, but the idea that no one could support Kamala Harris, you have to say, well, why is it that we're even as close as we are right now? We're at 189, 246. Is that correct? Is that what you got? Is that what
do we got, Jim?
Jim? What's that?
Play by play.
189, 246. Is that where we are?
Where are we at?
Yeah, we're at with that one right there on the left, 246 to
189.
I'm looking at perplexity. I've got 192, 230. That's where we are right
we've
now.
got,
So
you've got Trump leading in Pennsylvania by almost 4 points, Michigan by 2, Wisconsin by about a point. Arizona's growing 4 to 5 points.
And we don't have numbers on Nevada because of the rules.
I thought that they were going to count it anyway because that's in the Fifth Circuit right now, and if they lose that, none of them are going to count. But Trump was ahead in the early vote, in-person voting, and mail-in voting by 47,000 votes this morning.
Okay, got it. All right, so there's your update.
And just as a reminder, I think Biden was up by over 100,000
when he ran
2020.
Okay. Nice. Okay, beautiful. So
Sure.
let's start playing some
pull up
clips
the
unless
thing
you
here.
want to get to some super chats. Man, I'm so excited to have
Yeah,
all the people
I got
on
a
here.
couple of super chats. I don't know. I might get these real quick. Rational Redneck says, if Trump gets Pennsylvania, he wins whether or not he gets
Sorry about that.
whether or not he gets PA depends on when they stop counting. If mail-in ballots are still coming in tomorrow, then he loses PA. Is that correct?
Not possible.
Is that accurate? Not
No,
possible.
it's not accurate because they expunged most of the mail-in. The registries, they've cleaned up most of the registries, in particular in Georgia, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. And also, they reinforced the laws that you must request one. They couldn't just print them and send them out like they did last time. So the numbers are down 50 to 90% for mail-in ballots.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Here's another one. If he if he loses Pennsylvania, then Arizona becomes critical. So I have a question for the Arizona residents. Are Harris signs common around the local graveyards? Very funny.
That's pretty funny. Okay, awesome.
I want to show you this one first.
Go ahead,
Okay.
do it.
I used this video on my Sunday show just last Sunday, and I want everybody you've probably already seen this.
Everybody take a look up here.
Your turn, honey.
In the one place in America where women still have a right to choose, you can vote any way you want. And no one will ever know.
Did you make the right choice?
Sure did, honey.
Remember, what happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walls. Vote Common Good is responsible for the contents of this
That
ad.
is some subversive ass shit. That is
guys,
some subversive ass
Let's
shit.
go for it. Ready? What are we talking about? Lie to your husband. What else are we talking about here? Ready? Don't you know what I'm saying? It's so fucking funny. What do you got? What do you think about that video, Eden?
I think men love being lied to.
Okay, there you go. Let's give a big round of applause.
There we
Men love
go.
being lied to. Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed. OnlyFans did $6.6 million last year.
yes.
So
Do you
maybe
think they
that's
told
true.
their wives?
Yeah, that's right. Sean, what do you think about that ad?
I think it's interesting.
Subversive as fuck. Just go ahead and say it.
Mike, what do we think about the ad?
It's quirky.
I thought it was kind of cute because the other part was, let me look at this normal looking woman across the way from me who doesn't have an American flag on her head, and then wink at her, and then because of that, now I know I'm going to vote for Harris because of this. It's like, no, like I could, because here, what else does this commercial intimate? It intimates that the only reason women would ever vote for Trump, the only reason is because their husbands coerce them to.
We'll beat them if they don't.
Did you not grasp that? That was another part of the video. It's like we know you'd never vote for Trump. You're being coerced.
Wink,
you're being beaten
wink.
by your church group, and you're being harassed and harangued. But when you get in that voting booth, go ahead and vote for Harris because you know you wanted to the whole time because you're a woman and we play identity politics, and that's the only thing that matters.
Gender
It's
politics.
like there's so many little pieces, and the other part is like, which political party is for the nuclear family? And then what did this ad say? Lie to your husband. You guys catch that part? It's this little piece that you kind of miss. You could never run a conservative ad like this. Ready? Jolie, what do you think? Grab the mic.
Julia Roberts.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that was Julia Roberts. No, yeah, seriously, that's an
What am I supposed to think? It's evil.
Yeah. Beautiful. What did you think?
I mean, I'm a woman and I don't have a man, and I still voted for Donald Trump.
That's crazy. How can you make those decisions on your own? You must be,
know.
you know what?
As a
It's
silly woman,
toxic
I don't
masculinity
even know.
that has persuaded you into believing these things.
I
You've been
know.
gaslit by men for so long that
It
you
was
finally.
your dad.
It's incredible. How do you? It's unbelievable that you. Incredible, Mia.
I cannot vote yet, unfortunately. But if I could have, I would have voted for Trump. And
Mhm.
I'm a single
How come
woman.
you cannot
So.
vote?
I'm on a green card, so a green card
Oh,
holder
okay.
for 10 years. But I'm getting my citizenship in 7 weeks. So
Oh,
I'm
congratulations.
Well, listen,
I wish we could.
there's another way you can vote.
Mhm.
Just be Mexican and go to Arizona. Oh, I'm
That's-
sorry. Was I not supposed to say that? Was I not supposed to say that out loud?
That's why
I'm sorry.
I would vote for
Was
Trump.
I not supposed to? When I walked out of the polling booth, they looked at me and they're like, "Who'd you vote for, sir?" And I said, "Well, I'm Hispanic." and I showed them my driver's license. So who do you think I voted for? I'm going to go get back in my car with my Glock. Who do you think I would voted for? Would you want to take a guess? Who do you think I voted for?
It's just the liberal propaganda I don't like. It's saying like if you're a woman, you have to vote for her. You're not. If you're black and you vote for Trump, you're not black. That makes no sense. So I don't like the way that they're doing that. But it's just something that they
I also
would do.
feel like they used her voice on purpose. I mean, everyone knows. She's like a household name.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows.
Beautiful.
And it was a white family. I mean, a white couple that they used.
Yeah.
Of course.
Interesting. That is a great video. What else do we have?
I thought that was subversive as fuck. I was just gonna say, it's like, you notice that they make the guys like the husbands, like
he's just
only
kinda
in fact, like these
fat.
women would never get with those guys in the first place. So let's be honest here. And then this is just one. I used to work in marketing and advertising and stuff like this, so I understand that there's agencies and there's a lot of money that goes into the ads. There's another one that I'm going to show you guys in a minute here. I'm fairly certain it's by the same agency, but it's funny to me to see how they like want to portray just like, the average sort of middle America, from the flyover states as being these like, these fat white guys with, like you look like a deer in the headlights and they look like their name would be Bubba or they're Larry the Cable Guy or something like that. And I'm like, really, is that is that the best that you got?
Well, hold on. You know what the thing is though? It's typecasting because they have to. Because if the Republican man goes and fights for his family or fights for his country, then you do support him.
Yeah.
But if he's fat and dumb, so that's why he has to be Homer Simpson.
Oh yeah.
They have to. No, like the conservative man who's masculine, you must make him Homer Simpson, because if he's Homer Simpson, then what happens is he's not to be trusted.
Yeah.
The only thing to be trusted is your intuition. You can't trust what I said before. Women are being taught today that men are either Homer Simpson or Ted Bundy. You're one of the two. You're either incompetent,
you're abusive,
or you're dangerous. Like that's it. And until they, so that's why you see a lack of trustworthiness.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you something, Sean. I asked you something, James, and actually you guys over here. In your experience over the last couple of years of dating, have women become more flaky or less flaky in the last 10 years?
Way more.
Way more. Wait, is that what you're saying, Sean?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The level of flakiness is crazy now.
It is it's higher. The level of flakiness.
You have to add up. You have to pancake all your meetings just because 70%
that's exactly right. Yeah,
up.
literally. And then if she does stand you up, you have to show that you had a better time than whatever you were going to do with her.
Yeah,
and be extremely
on
petty about
Instagram,
it. And then all of a sudden she doesn't flake the next time. So the thing is, though, in a lot of ways, I think that women are being taught that men are incompetent. They're what's it called? What I say? Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
And so because they're incompetent, then women don't trust men. And I asked several women. I went to Swimsuit USA. I was like, do you guys think that women trust men more or less? And they're like, well, they trust men less. And it's like it's men. Well, men haven't really changed if you think about it. And actually, if you look at violent crime and SA, if you look at sexual A, you know what I'm saying. It's actually down. So if that's the case, then you should trust men more. But
the other thing that they're throwing out here too, and I sent you the article for after I watched. I think I sent you this video, and then I sent you this article about the instance of there actually being a Republican and a Democrat married together.
Oh, that's why don't we pull that one up?
Yeah.
So that is right here. When a couple right here, this one.
Okay.
But
before we do, let me give you this one real quick because this one was making the rounds as well, and I would be remiss if I didn't put this back.
I'm a man, and I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
And I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies? Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse. I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually. Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story. That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful. That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
I just can't imagine
those
that.
are
That's a
real
real act.
ads.
I thought that was
real.
But I can't imagine they
Yes.
expect men to vote for Harris. I hear me out. I think that ad was for women.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
think that
that's what I
ad
said,
was
get it,
to say like this is we want this type of man, this type of new man who is going to let me do whatever I want. And
well, I mean, I made this quote on when I was on Dr. Phil. It's like the only time we celebrate masculinity is when it looks like femininity.
Yes. Yeah,
That's the only time.
Chris Williamson said that one of the problems with modern therapy is that the way men are treated, they're treated as defective women.
Yeah, well, that's Camille Paglio was where he's getting that quote from. Is that we raise our boys, we raise our sons as if they were defective daughters or defective girls, but basically, because the way we have been sort of indoctrinating last four generations. If you look at who the teachers are, especially in public schools, it's 78%.
So 78% female, but like the other part that's really inconvenient is when you look at the number of women who are in the workforce and have children, and they're surveyed to say how many of you, if you had the opportunity to go back and stay at home and not work and stay with the kids, 56% of them say that they would have stayed.
Oh, they
home
would
with
love
the kids.
to. Yeah.
Like that. I'm sorry, that destroys a feminist narrative. You literally have the ability to work. You could work if you wanted, and you're choosing to stay home with the kids. No, that's not what's supposed to happen. And so, I think like what you said before, I don't feel a conservative narrative that feels that it's bad if a woman decides to not have kids. I feel like the liberal narrative is when you see women on TikTok saying, I made a sandwich for my man, that they're feminists saying you've set women's liberation back 50 years.
That's ridiculous.
Have you seen these clips on TikTok? Guys, go check it out. Anyone, these women, they'll be like, hey, this is the sandwich that I made for my man. Today, this is what I did for my man. And it's like it says pick me.
Oh yeah, you want engagement. That's how you get it. Is all you have to do
I don't
is
think it makes your man less of a man, or him being in control of you if you want to make your husband a steak for dinner. I think that's just like a wifely duty.
No, but what they're saying is that it's setting women's back because no woman in her right mind would ever want to do that.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I think they're like fucked up in their
yes.
No, it's okay. We're good now.
I think that they're messed up in their minds for thinking that. I think it's like this hidden agenda that like the media is pressing right now, and also obviously like the left side is pressing to us. I think a feminist movement already happened. If you and I were both to get a job, let's say doing something super normal like at Burger King or something, they're not going to pay you more than me because you're a man. Everything is pretty much as equal as it can get. So I don't really understand where this like feminist type of energy is coming from.
I know where it comes from. It comes from like an egalitarian belief. Like if the world were different, if you were to say, hey, everyone's equal, that seems kind of nice. It seems kind of fair. But the thing is, we don't live in Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek.
Yeah,
we don't have replicators that can create an unlimited food. Yeah. When you talk about, when Kamala talked about raising taxes on people who make more than $400,000 a year, I got bad news for you guys. If all the people in this country who made more than $400,000 a year just decided to get up and leave, there'd be no lights, there'd be no city, you have no idea until you run a company and understand how you need strong leadership at the top and people to take responsibility. And a lot of those people are often rewarded with more money. When you punish those people, society shuts down. The best illustration I've ever seen of this, and obviously it's a book of fiction, 1961's Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. I highly recommend everybody read it. But the funny thing about the book is that at the end of the book, you see all those people, they go to this little valley in Colorado, and at the very end of the book, spoiler alert, but the book's like 80 years old. What's going on here? Some feedback. So at the end of the book, the city of New York just goes dark. It goes dark. And when you see what happened in California, what happened? You saw Elon Musk and Joe Rogan last night, and they were saying we left California for the exact same reasons that are in the book.
Right.
The taxes went too high. You started telling us how to live our lives. The homeless problem got too much, so we decided to leave and go somewhere else where we had a monicum.
Of course, now they want to come to Vegas because we're here.
I came to Vegas from California.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so in the Bible,
just grab the microphone and go right here, just like this. Yeah,
okay.
just grab it.
So in the Bible, my father's a pastor.
Okay.
And we were born from a rib of a man. We were born because God's like, here's a man. Men needs women. And men have different brains. I just want to do my eyelashes, go get facials, and go be beautiful all day long. And then I'll cook dinner, no problem.
You know what? The other thing is that's incredible. That's a scientific study by.
And I'll be happy because nobody's complaining about work stuff to me.
Yes. Okay. While that is the case, if a woman though does want to work, that's fine too. That's not the issue. Not for you. That's not for you. What do you think about this? Where are we at right now? Oh, dude, we're at 205, 230 now. Woo. Well, she came up.
No, she didn't.
Your necessity, your feeling of supporting the Harris campaign and not supporting Trump. Can you emphasize like where do you feel this from?
Well, I was
grab the microphone and just go just like this.
Yeah,
just
talk right into
the
it.
face with the thing. Just like this.
Well, I was born and raised in California,
Yeah.
which is obviously a very blue state. I come from a blue family. I'm very pro reproductive rights. I'm very pro woman. I think it's time for a woman president. I think the men have had their chance. Like, what's the worst a woman could do at this point?
Thermonuclear war.
Men have already done that.
9% inflation.
I think, sexism is a big deal breaker for me. Racism is a huge deal breaker for me. Non-negotiables.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you bring up the whole racism thing. Can we bring up can you bring up this one?
Camila, her career as a prosecutor. How many black people she put in prison? I cannot. Sorry.
There we go.
She's so racist.
Let's take a look up here.
Election data analyst Harry Hinton talking about how bad Kamala Harris is doing with black men and women, and how much better Trump is doing, to the extent that he is poised to do the best in 64 years among black voters. Listen.
This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45. Back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012.
How about black men overall?
If younger black men, it looks like the worst Democratic performance since 1960, since JFK versus Richard Nixon.
If these numbers on black voters are accurate, Kamala Harris's math doesn't add up.
And that's exactly what I've seen anecdotally. And I you know what I call this? I call this the Myron Gaines effect.
Oh my God.
Because but if you go look.
So the DHS was right.
Yeah, the DHS was right. I've said this before. You and I have been doing different shows in the manosphere for a while. And I've asked you this before. This country is about 14% black, 13% black. What percentage of the country, of the manosphere, do you think is black?
God, that's a tough question. I would say at least a third.
A third. I'd say 30.
Yeah,
I'd say 33% of the manosphere is black.
33.
So now you want to consider, of all these people who are Googling Andrew Tate and all the people that watch Fresh and Fit or whatever podcast, we're talking about a third of them are African American. The bent in the manosphere is to which political party?
Oh, very much the conservative side.
It's exclusive. It's almost entirely conservative. In fact, I can think of very few content creators. There's a few pickup artists that are liberal, but for the most part, it's almost entirely conservative.
I mean, that's the reason why Myron, myself, Aaron Clary, and a lot of other creators are on that DHS, the Department of Homeland Security watch list right now. That's one of the reasons. Honestly, I think that's what we're seeing happening right now, especially with that, is because we have NGOs. We have Diverting Hate NGO out of Arizona, who's been really tracking me and basically, throttling my traffic for over a year right now. All this is, by the way, there's no secrets about this. They put out biannual reports on this saying we are choking we're redirecting their traffic and we're choking them off right now. And the reason for that is, so why would they do that? The only reason that I can think of is because they don't want our influence, my influence, Myron's influence, anybody who is in a sort of the masculine improvement sphere, however we want to, call it, they are concerned that, and you're going to find out here in just a minute when we talk about Scott Galloway, they're concerned that guys like myself and Myron are going to in some way encourage guys to vote for Trump, and that it is a direct threat. And we already know this because where does the Harris campaign go? They go and they want to ridicule, masculinity. Then they want to redefine masculinity in that second one. By the way, those are the only two of probably 4 or 5 of these things. And so they're essentially trying to find some way to say, well, this is bad. This is toxic masculinity and this is good masculinity. And we need more good masculine people. And they still can't get over themselves in the fact that guys are going to be guys no matter what. So if they're voting for Trump or they're voting for Kamala, you're looking at two different animals. You're looking at two different guys, two different forms of definitions of masculinity. One of those is these guys who want to be sort of like Tim Walz, right? Tim Walz is supposed to be this bastion of this new male kind of, he's a coach and he's just a nice guy and he just sort of goes along, get along, and that's the kind of masculinity we need. And then you've got the Trump masculine guys who are more like Andrew Tate, or these guys are just full of macho bullshit, and each one of those is a caricature of the most extreme ends of this.
Yeah. So what I said before is the reason why you end up on a DHS watch list is not because what you're saying is dangerous, and it's not because what you're saying the idea.
I'm sure I'll be dropped right after after this election. I'm sure that it all goes away.
I want to literally, ladies, who here has lost an Instagram account because of stuff that you posted on there? Yeah, Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that Meta likes women? Is that what Meta's a defender of women? Why don't you look at Meta's terms of service? Meta will take your account down for sexually suggestive posts. Who suggests whether or not you guys have sex? Is it the people looking at your post? Who is it that gets to suggest when you have sex? Who is it that gets to suggest that? Tell me, who is it? You were talking about women's rights. Who suggests when you have sex? You do. You do. So how does Meta get to tell you that this post is fucking sexually suggestive and then get rid of your account? Hey guys, anybody want to know, how did Instagram become so popular? Was it because they kept showing women in turtlenecks? What did they do to become so popular? Anybody let me know. Let me know. What was it the thing they did? Huh? Booty pics. So wait, you're telling me that Meta used the labor of basically half-naked women to grow their platform. And then once Mercedes-Benz and McDonald's wanted to become advertisers, they dumped all these women and then started getting rid of their accounts. And they're the ones protecting women from Andrew Tate. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, dude. That is crazy to me. It's so crazy to me. It's no, Meta, no one hates women more than Instagram. The idea that we're on this DHS watch list, or you're on one because of the fact that they're trying to protect women, is absurd. You're on the watch list because it's causing minority men, Black and Hispanic men, primarily, to finally start considering voting Republican. That is the reason why this is going on.
I had a question for Eden. Would you be voting for Kamala just simply because she's a Black woman versus Trump, aside from any of her policies?
No, I voted for Joe Biden.
Well, so to add to that, that's what I was asking, if I could just pick your brain a little, because one of the things that you'd mentioned were women's rights. But whenever you hear her speak, she is one of the people who cannot give you a hard definition of what a woman actually is. She is one of the people that will tell you, well, a woman is someone who declares themselves as a woman. You cannot, unfortunately, describe a word using the word itself. So to say that she is for women's rights, she can't even tell you what a woman is. She wants to give women rights to him next to you. If he were to decide to say that he's a woman today, he would be able to have the same rights as you.
Alive.
Sorry.
We do not want to get into picking on the liberal. We're not doing that.
I can take it.
Go ahead.
No, I believe I said reproductive rights. Actually, not women's rights.
I think you said both, but that's okay.
No, I said reproductive, and I said I'm very pro-woman.
Do you believe that Donald Trump is not going to institute a 50-state ban on reproductive rights like he said he is, or do you think he is?
Well, I mean, Roe versus Wade was already overturned.
Right, but Roe versus Wade does not. It leaves that reproductive rights to the states.
Yeah, it's not.
It doesn't ban reproductive rights. Does that make sense?
Right, but I still think that it's moving in that direction, and that we're taking that away from women. It's scary to me.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Did you vote? You voted in Vegas, in Clark County?
It's not bad. The only other thing I was going to ask was, oh my gosh. Fuck.
When you think of it, don't.
Wait,
no, it was
just.
We're so glad you're.
No, I have a question. Yeah. So you voted in Clark County. What did you vote on question 6?
I don't think I did.
I forgot which one's question 6.
Question 6 is reproductive rights. Is actually
it's
reproductive.
Yeah, that is not I actually thought the repealing of Roe versus Wade was a stupid thing for the Republicans to do before the election. I thought it was going to cost them Senate and House seats, and it's not a hill I want to die on, honestly. But it happened, and I get it. And Donald Trump is partially the reason why that happened, because he appointed 3 Supreme Court justices. There are things I care way more about inflation than that. Like, that's just me. But that, I'm just call me. I care more about World War III. Sorry, I just call me selfish if you want. But
I have to say something about this.
Yeah.
I come from a country where we have massive war right now, and it feels to me like we really need a leader who puts it to stop.
What country?
And as a woman, I come from
Israel.
Israel.
Oh, okay.
I'm Israeli. As a woman, I would love to vote for a woman, and I would love to have a woman leader. I come from a country where we had one woman leader. Her name was Golda Meir, but she was a leader. Like, she had this thing into her, like this aura of leadership that, again, I definitely support other people's opinions, but that's something that unfortunately Kamala, in my personal opinion, doesn't have. And Trump has this leadership personality where it feels to me like everything that is happening in Ukraine and Russia right now, and everything that is happening with Israel and Gaza, Palestine, is definitely going to be, like, if we have a strong leadership in America, all these wars and all those innocent people that are dying right now would probably be over with. And it's when I came to this country to definitely be a free woman. And I felt like when I came from Jerusalem, to me, America was super free because I could wear whatever I want and I could do whatever I want. But after 5 years of being super liberal and super free and an OnlyFans chick, about a year ago, I stopped doing OnlyFans, and now I'm in real estate school, and I just want to be home and find a man and cook for him and just be a wife. So at the end of the day, I come from I had it all. I had this $50,000 a month from OnlyFans, and I had this 1 million followers on Instagram, and I had all this fame of being a penthouse pet of the year, and all this magazine covers and all this fame. And at the end of the day, all I want is get married and have kids and just be home pregnant and cook for my husband.
But that's me too. That's also
So-
me. And I say
not to derail this, but we are talking a little bit politics here. I have to ask you this because you are a former member of the IDF. Do you think that what is happening in Israel, that it's gone on for too long?
Definitely. I served in the IDF for 3 years.
Yes.
I was in the Air Force and I had an M16. A lot of people talk about Israel killing innocent people and stuff like this. And it was really important for me. And the reason why I booked my flights here today is when you told me you're doing this election podcast, immediately booked my flights, immediately went to the Wynn Hotel, and I'm here now.
Yeah.
It's important to me to definitely speak about my country as well, as someone who is definitely going to be voting Republican probably most of my years in the US, and finally getting my American passport, which took me 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm doing it legally. I have to talk about my country because I feel obligated to my people. There is a reason why it's called the IDF. It's Israel Defense Force. It's not attack force. When I had an M16, I could never use it.
Yeah.
We can't use it. All we do is defend ourselves. And what happened about a year and a half ago when they came to our border and murdered our people and kidnapped our hostages and raped our women, we had to defend ourselves. We had to attack back. Just like Japan and Hiroshima after Pearl Harbor, when you are being attacked by another country, you have to act.
Totally understand. My question is, they're attacking a group of people that don't have tanks or an air force for 13 months. And we're at to the point now where they're not allowing food or medical supplies in. And there's several, the United Nations has called it a humanitarian crisis. I understand the attack part. But what I don't understand is we're not allowing medical supplies into Gaza. Is there any way that you think maybe you could be a little bit critical of what the Israeli government is doing right now at 13, 14 months? It was 2 Octobers ago when we started this conflict. I believe Israel had the moral high ground for a couple weeks, a couple of months, but not 13 months. Do you understand?
Yeah.
They can't, there's
completely
no
agree.
standing army to defend themselves. They don't have Patriot missile batteries. They don't have Black Hawk helicopters. They don't have Abrams tanks. But we're at 13 months and they're not. So do you understand what I'm saying? What my concern
I
will be here?
completely agree with
Yeah.
you. Right now, it's definitely gone too far,
Okay.
especially because the U.S. needs a better leader. But I have to say something. We pulled out of Gaza in 2006, and we supplied them free electricity, free water, free food, free everything. But then they come over and they terrorize us and they kidnap our people. And we said them many, many times. We still have over 100 hostages right now. Some of them are women out there. And there is rumors out there that some of them got pregnant by their kidnappers. If you give us our people back, we will supply you free food, free electricity, free money, free whatever, like you always get, because they live for free. So give us our hostages back and we will provide you with whatever you need.
Yeah, but I just think that the issue is like from a world standpoint, from the world stage, is that like there's a bunch of children that live in Gaza that have nothing to do with this war and they can't get food in there. It's like a legitimate. This is not the Israelis, not the United States government. Is like there are worldwide entities that are calling this a humanitarian crisis. At first, I was like doubting it. I was like, well, maybe these stories are coming from Gaza. But like after 13 months, I've just listened to one doctor after another. Many of them are not Middle Eastern. They've gone there and it has been 100-0. Every single one of them has been like, this is an unlivable situation for what's going on in Gaza. If Israel's intent is to make it unlivable, and they want to do so in order to get their hostages back, then they should explain that. I don't know what the answer is here, but what I'm saying is when the United States took on Iraq in 1990, we beat the shit out of them in 3 weeks, and then we left because they couldn't fight us. And after a while, they just couldn't fight us anymore. It's this same type of situation where it's like they're taking like U.S. model tanks and aircraft into Gaza, and there's no way for them to fight back. And I'm like, at some point, what I'm saying is, if they haven't got them out after 13 months, are they going to get them after 18 months? Are they going to get them after 24 months? At what point, what would victory have to look like for Benjamin Netanyahu to pull out of Gaza? That's the only question I would ask.
It's a great question, and I completely agree with you, and it's very, very reasonable question. One of my best friends is actually Palestinian, and one of the reasons why I went so viral on Instagram is because I go live with him and we speak in Arabic, and all of my Israeli supporters are like, fuck you, bitch. Like, you are, how do they call me? Betrayer in Hebrew. Like, you're friends with the Palestinian,
Yeah.
I have a lot of Muslim friends, especially the Palestinians that are not crazy. And don't get me wrong, like it's gone so far. But at the end of the day, even their children are being taught to hate, and they have a terror organization as a leadership. So when you have someone like Iran right now, their leadership right now is a terror, like it's a dictatorship where they terror their citizens.
Sure.
So if you have a terror organization as a leadership and all you teach your children and your little 3-4-year-olds is to stab Jews and kill them to death, I'm sorry, but I really don't feel bad for their children if they're going to be terrorizing our country in like 4 years from now.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, yes, we need to go back to America right now and to the other topics, but it's extremely complicated and it's very, very sad. And I feel so bad that so many people are dying.
3,000 years.
I so want her on for a president.
Never going to be over.
What, with Jake Shields?
Yeah, right.
Okay, all right, here we go.
Awesome.
Go back to America.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to do this one?
Yeah, got you.
This is one of my favorite ones.
A white male billionaire screaming at the top of his lungs, this whole system is rigged. And the moderator said, well, Mr. Trump, if in fact the system is rigged, what would be your evidence? Remember what he said, bro? He said,
I absolutely used it, and so did Warren Buffett, and so did George Soros, and so did many of the other people that Hillary is getting money from.
No one ever heard someone say something that true. And then Hillary Clinton tried to punch him in the taxes. She said, this man doesn't pay his taxes. He shot right back.
See, I understand the tax code better than anybody that's ever run for president, and it's extremely complex.
And then he said,
she complains that Donald Trump took advantage of the tax code. Well, why didn't she change it? Why didn't you change it when you were a senator? The reason you didn't is that all your friends take the same advantage that I do. Hillary Clinton has friends that want all of these provisions.
And with that, my friends, the star was born.
Yeah, dude. One of the things I love about Dave Chappelle is he's so effortlessly funny, and he's funny because he says the quiet part loud. Do you understand? It's true. It is true. You want to know who else used the tax code? Fucking me. You want to think? What do you think happens with these? What do you think happens with these microphones? You think we don't write these off? You don't think, bro, I have employees. Like, what are you guys going to go do? We're going to go have dinner for sure. Write this off. Right? Shout out to MJ Huffman, my accountant. Are you kidding? We're fully aware of the tax code. You want to know why it happens? You know what we do? We take our money in our business and we buy products from other people, which employs them. And when we employ them, do you know what happens to our tax liability? It goes down. We're rewarded for spending money on other businesses. That's how the tax code works. That's how it worked here with Donald Trump.
Can I tell you a funny story real quick? When I started like making some money, and I was hanging out with Robert Kiyosaki, and I was working with Robert, and I go, Robert, man, I moved up into a new tax bracket. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe how much taxes I have to pay. He goes, he says, why don't you buy a jet? And I'm like, what do you mean by a fucking jet? I don't have enough money for my taxes. He's like, no, a jet is a write-off that will basically you won't pay any taxes if you own the jet.
You got the Daytona right here. Is that what is it? Yeah. So I was talking to my friends about buying a Rolex, and it didn't make any sense to me. I was like, man, that seems like a lot of money. And then they started explaining to me how depreciation works on it, and how it's a tax write-off if it's marketing. And I was like, damn, I need to buy some jewelry. Like, you don't understand this at this point, because one of the things that happens is that you don't understand. Like, again, a lot of people are not educated on how money works or how tax write-off works. Certain jewelry. Yeah, for sure. But anyway, so let's go to, I like this one. See this one?
Yeah.
This one's great. You guys will like this.
Get this one. You know what though? Let me I kind of want to throw that, because this is more to like her point.
Let's do it.
If
it's a good transition, let's use it.
I think it is.
I don't know. One of the saddest realizations I recently had was that as a liberal woman, it is really hard to find a man who is willing to play the more traditional masculine role in the relationship in today's day and age, who is not a conservative. A man who wants to pay on the first date, who wants to open your door, who has that want and desire to take care of you and to provide, who is not a conservative. And obviously, as a liberal woman, I do want to be respected for my independence. And I do want to have my own autonomy in the relationship and not be confined or conform to the traditional female homemaker, childbearing role. And most of the men that I've dated who do have that more natural provider masculinity about them are normally conservative. So I don't really know what to do, because I don't want to compromise my morals and values just to find a man. But am I asking to have my cake and eat it too?
Like, you know what? You don't have a problem with. You don't have a problem with the idea that if you date someone of a different political party than you, you're compromising your morals and values. That's crazy to me. Like, I don't. If you're fine, dude, who gives a shit? You're hot.
Like,
who cares?
who's going to hold you accountable?
Who's going to hold you accountable? What do you think about this? Have you had this issue where dating a man, you're a liberal who dates liberal men?
For the most part, I've had one conservative partner, and he was actually like the opposite. He was like the cheapest man I've ever been with.
Oh, okay.
And he was like one of those like people who are like brainwashed that he's like about to be a billionaire because of crypto. And he would always be like, oh my God, Trump protects my taxes. I'm like, oh my God, like God forbid they take your Dogecoin. That's worth $40. But no, I'm politically liberal, and that's like, I keep hearing a lot of people like, oh, I want to raise kids. I want to be a wife. I share that mentality like stronger than anyone I know.
Yeah.
But I don't think, even feminism, I don't think we're trying, like feminists say you have to do this or you're not a feminist. I think it gives people the freedom to choose who they are, what lifestyle fits them.
I think certain types of feminists, you're correct. I think there's a type of egalitarian feminist, which is like, if men can have sex with a lot of women, then women can have a lot of sex with a lot of men. And there's a separate type of feminist that is basically all men are potential rapists. That's a separate type of feminism.
Everything has extremists.
All the ills on planet Earth have to do with masculinity and testosterone. That is a separate type of feminism that exists. Hey, could you two move as close up this way as you can? Move as far to your left as you can. No, not you, Jolie. You're actually in the right spot. You're in the right spot. Yeah, good. Get you a little closer on camera.
You're in shot.
Let's get cozy. All right, cool.
No, I was going to say this intrigued me because I see this happen all the time, and I mean, you just confirmed it for me too. Is that I think that there's sort of this natural, innate kind of evolved firmware that men and women, but in this case, we're talking about women, have sort of as part of their operating system, our starting package, if you will, for like our own psychology. So it's like for women, they want a guy who's more dominant. They want a guy who's more conventionally masculine. They want a guy who has a capacity for violence, who can also, I think it was Justin Waller said the capacity to slit throats and change a diaper.
Yeah, so hold a baby in one arm while killing somebody with the other one.
Exactly. And I think that what's funny to me is like, then there is sort of the software, which is we're sort of convinced that feminism is, anyway, I think feminism is more like a programming. It's more like a conditioning. It's more like software. And what happens is then you get into, especially as women age, they get into this state where the software kind of conflicts with the firmware. And so when it's like, I really want a guy, like she's just saying, I really want a guy who's more conventionally masculine. I need a guy who's more dominant, but those guys tend to be conservative, right? Well, that's the programming, right? That's the software, as opposed to what the actual firmware would be is men want to be men and women want to be women. And the only thing that kind of comes in between them is the fact that we have these expectations that are sort of embedded in our brains throughout the better half of our lifetime, that this is what we ought to be expecting. We ought to expect 50-50, and it ought to be egalitarian, and it ought to be an equal partnership and everything else. The problem is that our evolutionary firmware doesn't agree with that, and so that's why you have this cognitive dissonance for this woman who's in the car talking about, I really want a guy who's nice and conservative and very dominant and traditionally conventionally masculine, but that goes against my religion, because she's using basically my morals and my virtues and using religious sort of terminology to describe what she's feeling, and she's almost like saying, like, I feel like I'm betraying my God, or I'm betraying my religion by wanting this guy. And if I want this guy, then what are my other feminist believing friends going to say about me? That sound accurate?
I mean, there's definitely some people who share that notion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So are you looking for a guy who's like more conventionally masculine?
Oh, 1,000%.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
I do. But I mean, my theory is I think everyone should have the freedom to be who they are. And I think we should have a world that's set up. Like, me personally, I'm fully feminine.
Mhm.
So I know I can only be compatible with a fully masculine partner. But I feel like for a household to work, I think there just needs to be an equal balance.
Mhm. Let's see.
So I think it works better when people can express that in a free way. Like, if somebody can be who they are, they can find their equal partner. And I think that actually builds more strong nuclear families. I would personally never agree with it, but I know men who are feminine. And so they keep their household together by having a masculine wife who has 2 jobs, and she pays the bills and she runs the household and she tells them
So
where
she's
to be
the
at
husband.
what time. Right. And I don't agree with it,
Mhm.
but those children are being raised with a nuclear family, what the conservatives want.
Mhm.
So
So
Go ahead. Talk on the mic.
you were just saying that assigning different gender roles, and they're more fluid depending on where they stand, rather than
yeah, I think if you try to force everyone into the same box, it's never going to work. And that's like, I don't think the liberals are like, trying to force men to be women, or like, I don't think liberals are trying to destroy the traditional values. I think they're just creating a more accepting world.
I don't think that traditional liberals or like people who vote Democrat are, but I think that this like new wave, this new agenda that's going on, specifically probably from the Harris and Biden administration, and now being, carried out by Harris, I think it is. That's why you have a lot of Democrats who have been Democrats their whole entire life, and they're literally on air saying that for the first time ever, they are voting Republican this year. I don't feel like some of the things that she's pushing is necessarily like a traditional liberal agenda. I do think that that's what they're trying to do whenever they're putting certain things in our school systems and talking to small babies, 5-year-olds, about things that no 5-year-old should ever have to even worry about. They should be worrying about playing outside with their friends. Look, mommy, look at like, the picture I colored you today, not like, oh, this is what I learned about, like, oh, am I a boy or a girl? Like, I'm sorry, but I don't believe in like telling small babies those types of things.
Well,
I think that is being pushed specifically by this administration because it was never in place whenever.
Yeah, well, I have a son, and I don't know if anyone else here is a parent, but I will say in this day and age with social media, with phones, they're going to be exposed, whether or not you homeschool. Like, unless you just live in a cabin in the woods. Like, my son came to me with those questions, and it didn't come from the school. It came from social media, from his peers. And I've never had an issue discussing it with him. Like, I haven't seen any.
Well, and that's great. That is the point, though. You're discussing it with him. What we're not having is, it's like bring your trans to work day. And then that person comes in and starts showing him how to put a condom on a banana. Like, that's not.
What did you say? Like, why was he even asking if he was a boy or a girl? Like, why?
He's never asked me that.
Well, I'm saying you're probably more of like this, like a traditional liberal versus what this new wave is. That's what I'm getting at. Like, what you're describing, like, is more traditional. And what I was describing is this like new crazy wave of people putting on cat masks and want to go piss in a litter box and
I
shit
just
like
haven't
that.
experienced that.
You know what I'm saying? Which I don't think that that's,
Like,
based off of speaking with you, I don't think that that's what you stand for necessarily. I think that you're.
I mean, like we were saying earlier, like, it's kind of, you like naturally attract an echo chamber. Most of my friends are liberal. I have transgender friends. I have gay friends. I have all of it. And I've never, like, personally, I've never firsthand, even in liberal circles, seen that actually, I feel like that's like a red propaganda talking point.
Well, no, I mean, there's actual videos of like in California of them bringing like trans people to elementary schools and then having them dance. Like, that's not propaganda.
Why is it in the textbooks?
And I'm from Ohio, and my brother and his wife chose to pull their daughter. They never even put her into the school system because it was literally on the it's in their school or in their curriculum, even starting at preschool level, that they're going to be talking about things like that. And they're like, "There's no way in how I'm going to put my daughter in a school."
Why do they need to discuss that?
I know they're paying like a significant amount of money to send her to some like little private preschool, and it goes all the way up to I think like high school, and then from there they're going to homeschool her because they don't want her little mind to be around certain things like that. And I'm from Ohio. I'm from like we had bring your tractor to school day on prom week. I'm from like the fucking boonies, and they're doing that stuff out there, so it does exist.
Yeah, but I mean, well, trans people do exist.
That does,
of course.
Gay
But
people
the issue is not the issue is
that they don't
time out,
exist.
time out. We are like Rollo and I on the show. We're pretty libertarian when it comes to this. The issue is not trans people. It has never been trans people. Hold on. The issue is not trans people. It has never been trans people. The issue is, as a parent, I should have the right, whether or not my child is, number one, exposed to this form of sexuality and alternative sexuality before they go through puberty, and number two, given affirmative care, or what's it called? I'm sorry, gender affirming care. What gender?
Yeah.
Somebody help me.
Gender affirming.
Gender affirming care. And also with certain people in the Democrat Party denying parental consent, meaning that if my child says it was a boy, wants to be a girl, that me as the parent might not even be notified of that happening. That's what we have a problem with. There is no problem with people being trans. And there's certainly no problem with people being trans after the age of 18, just like when they could vote, smoke cigarettes, or join the military. The problem is when this is the main issue. This is not a moral concern. This is just something all the men who are watching here, if you agree with me, put a 1 in the chat if you agree with it. Part of our maleness is our heterosexuality. Part of our maleness, if that makes any sense to you.
What about gay men?
No, still, there's that could be part of their. No. Okay, I don't know. We're not going to get into that right now. But part of when I went through puberty, part of my masculinity and my maleness was my desire for the opposite sex. And maybe if you're Jolie, give me a second here. Give me a second. Part of my maleness is my heterosexuality. And let's just say if someone's homosexual and they go through puberty, and after they go through puberty, they decide to become homosexual, or they don't decide, but they become homosexual, then part of their maleness is their homosexuality. That's fine too. But my point is, before puberty, I knew I kind of liked girls. After puberty, I really knew I liked girls. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do, but I don't think that's defined by maleness, because there are gay men and there are lesbian women.
For sure. So we're just talking about my maleness right now.
Okay.
Those points are valid points. We're just talking about my maleness. My heterosexuality is not a social construct that was taught to me, and it can't be untaught to me.
So that's how I feel. So that's where when they say like they're teaching the kids to be gay.
No, I don't agree that they're teaching the kids. I don't agree that they're teaching the kids to be gay. What they're doing is proposing ideas, gay and trans. So one of the things that we do that's so destructive in this conversation is we try to conflate gay and trans. Those are two different things. Yeah. Gay men, like Buttigieg, gay men are lawyers, doctors, accountants. Gay men really don't have it that rough in this country. Trans men, that's something completely different. You can choose to be trans. You can't choose whether or not to be gay. You absolutely can choose to be trans. You can choose to identify as a woman and still not be trans. Of course you can. What are you talking about? In order to be trans, you have to make a decision.
In life,
No. You can feel like you're a woman inside. That doesn't make you trans. You have to make a decision to become trans. Do you understand?
I think we all choose our gender every day. I mean,
I think we were born a specific gender.
Okay. I think we're sex. Okay, you obviously don't mean biological gender. You mean like you're talking about a construct, a social construct.
So that's when we're talking about.
I wake up every day and I choose to be feminine.
But can you define?
No, you choose to be female. You don't choose to be feminine.
So I'm gonna let me see if I can clarify this from, because this is a really big really big issue. I've talked about this a million times. Actually, I've written quite a bit about this. Is that there's especially in sort of liberal think tanks, as far as the ideology is concerned, or the thinking is concerned, is it's very rooted in what's known as the the blank slate mentality, meaning that everybody can be whatever. Everything is subjective. Everything is relative. We can be whatever. Tomorrow I can go and identify as, a cat, right? Whatever it is. And the thing about that is that's okay. If that's the role playing that you want to play that particular morning, more power to you. Go have a fun time with that. The problem is when you go and you take that and you start to conflate sex and you conflate gender. The problem with those is that for the longest time, really since intersectional feminism came up in the mid 70s, we've had this dependency on this idea that there is a separation between biological sex and gender. And we have in that time have disproven that, categorically disproven that with the 4 laws of genetic behaviorism. Okay, so behavioral genetics. And a lot of people are still late to the party because they're still clinging on to these old social dynamics and these old kind of ways about their 20th century ways of thinking. The reason, I'll just give you the short version. The short version is this, is that gender is downstream from biological sex. So the things that make you feel like you're feminine, feel like you're masculine, are derived from testosterone, derived from estrogen, derived from your brain structure. Men and women's brain architecture is fundamentally different. And now we know that, but we didn't know that in the mid 70s when we were trying to figure out whether or not you're a boy or you're a girl or whatever. Is this a social constructionism? If you kick out the legs of emotionalism, social constructionism, the blank slate, and emotionalism, every other issue that is either a conservative issue or a liberal issue, all of it collapses. So if you take away those elements, you can start like actually having a more objective understanding of reality.
Eden, here's my only question, right? So the Democrat Party was, especially in the 1960s, was supposed to be the party of the downtrodden and the disenfranchised. And it was supposed to be a party of equality. If I'm a child and I do not have all the information because I'm a child, it's not fair that I'm even allowed to change my gender before I even know what to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because here's the reason why. Because me as a man, I didn't change my gender, but I got to choose what I wanted to be after the age of 18. And I wasn't put up, there was no, what I'm saying is when I chose to join the military, I could do so after 18. When I chose to vote, I could do so after 18. Choose to drink alcohol, I could do so after 21. If you're saying that, and by the way, there's another study that shows about 88% of children who have a feeling of gender dysphoria, they revert back to their original gender at some point later. Imagine during that time period, there's surgery that happens and it's irreversible. The point is, one of the reasons why doctors are saying that they're trying to get children this gender affirming care before puberty is because if you change a man into a woman before male puberty, the surgery takes better. That's not a good enough reason for me. If you want to change your gender, do so. Absolutely. After you're 18. If you want to say that you're a woman, that's fine. But the puberty blockers and not telling parents about puberty blockers, I'm sorry, that is a federal felony as far as I'm concerned. That is the idea that someone could take your child and say, hey, we're going to give them this medication and not tell you because you're parental consent. That you can't possibly in a liberal democracy think that is okay. And that's exactly what happened to Elon Musk, which is why he's a Republican now, because in California, they took his son, and they gave him puberty blockers without explaining to him what was going on. That's why he's on this tirade. By the way, that's why he's supporting Donald Trump right now, is because that happened. You can't possibly believe in a liberal democracy that it's okay to take that parental investment, that parental right away from parents. That's the only issue that I'm saying. And you have the decision. You want to color your hair. You don't, like, little girls can't come in there and just say, I want to color my hair blonde if their parents don't want them to. We have guardianship for a reason in this country. But for some reason in this one area of changing your gender, we want to pull away guardianship from parents. That seems morally reprehensible to me.
Right. Super chats. Let me get to one here. Rational Redneck. According to studies, conservatives tend to be more attractive. Looking at everyone in the room, I already know who voted for who. Swallow being the best example. Thank you.
Guys, if you guys want to look this up on Perplexity or ChatGPT, there is a study that shows that men with more upper body strength are less in favor of wealth redistribution. That is an absolute study if you want to look that up. I don't know about the taxation policy here.
What is this about? Okay, Rational Redneck again. There's a difference between being a liberal and subscribing to the can't we all just get along belong mentality and promoting drag queen story hour with small children.
Again, the problem is the left is here to believe that the right hates trans people. That is not the issue. The issue is with children. The issue with Dylan Mulvaney was not that he was a woman on a Bud Light commercial. The issue was that he was trying to be a 12-year-old girl on a Bud Light commercial. That was the problem. That is so fucking weird that he was doing that. Because if I have a 12-year-old girl, I don't want my 12-year-old girl anywhere near that weird motherfucker ever. That's crazy to me that any parent would think that that's appropriate. If you go to some places like Legoland, if you're a single male, you know what they tell you when you walk to the door? Get out. No, sir, you can't come in. We're not going to let single men without children or a family come into Legoland. That's weird. But for Dylan Mulvaney, it's okay. He should have a sleepover with other 12-year-old girls. That's not okay. This is a function of agency. That's the problem. And when I talk to most progressives and liberals, they've never even thought about this. They've never even seen it. They simply, because what's happened is Kamala and the left have told many people on the left that the only reason to oppose this is because we hate trans people. That is not what's going on at all, or especially hate gay people. One of the things that I found to be most annoying is this idea that it's LGBTQ. That's ridiculous. Bisexual women are not discriminated against. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Bisexual women are not discriminated against by anyone. Encouraged. Nobody. By the way, bisexual women for the win. No one so to put them in the same category as lesbian women or gay men is ridiculous. Lesbian women get divorced at 3.5 times the rate that gay men do. To put them all in the same category is ridiculous, but it's gender identity. It's like in reality, and I've talked to some gay men who agree with me on this. They'll say gay men are going to lead the LGBT community because they're like, we're the conservatives of this community. We're lawyers, we're doctors, we're accountants. We make $500,000 a year and have a Rolex watch. We have an incredible life. Gay men in this country do not have it that bad. It's now some trans people do. They get discriminated against, but it's like to put them all together. It's like they're trying to unify them so that all their problems are the same, and their problems are not the same. And what you saw, PBD was talking about how something like 20% of high school kids identify as LBGT, and if they're teaching these kids to be gay. It's like, well, no, I don't know if they're teaching the kids to be gay, because LBGTQ are 5 different fucking things. They're not all gay, and so that's why the whole thing is very confusing to me.
Let's check in with Jim Kilgore. What's the stats, my friend?
Oh, baby, it's coming.
Speaking of ambiguously gay,
there.
Guys, hold on, wait. Yo, Fox News. Yo, listen. Yo, Fox News has them 232, 216.
Yeah, Decision Desk still has it at 213 to 248.
Fox has it like that?
Fox has 232 to 216.
Perplexity.
Perplexity is 210, 230. So she's, like I said before, she is definitely caught up.
Decision Desk has got the most accurate poll. It's 213 to 248. Trump is up 3 points in Pennsylvania with over 86% reporting. It doesn't look like she's going to be able to close the gap.
Now, what I am seeing is in all these 7 swing states that he has a lead of 1% or more, 1% in Arizona and 3% in all the other states.
He's only 1% in Arizona, but there's still half to report. And he's up now by 3 in Michigan, and he's up by 4 with 84% reporting in Wisconsin. She's probably not going to be able to close that either, because a lot of the late votes that are coming in from all these from the Rust Belt states,
I think it's interesting that
are usually rural votes that come in late, which tend to go more conservative.
So, they are.
Hey, Michael, I have a question.
Go ahead.
What you said earlier about being masculine has. What was the point that when you liked a woman, was it you're at your full masculinity?
No. But it's one of the pieces of, like, when you remember, we all have the same experience. We maybe had a little bit of a crush on a girl when we were like 11 or 10 or 11, but when we were 14, we really fucking liked women. We couldn't think about anything else. Like, the cornerstone of our masculinity was our attraction towards women. We would sit there and compete with each other. We'd run up and down the fucking halls. We'd go play football, get in fights. We do all this shit to
ride wheelies down the street.
Wheelies down the street to try to. We were men competing with other men for access to women, even if we didn't know we were doing it. That's what we were doing. And so you've taken that choice away. I knew I really fucking liked women when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. And I should not have even had the agency to make a decision about my sexuality before that point, before puberty. That's my point.
Gene.
Bitcoin, let's go.
And Eden, I agree with that.
Market update.
Only because I think trans people don't want to be masculine.
Well, trans in which way?
I mean,
well, no, trans women want to be masculine men. Yeah, for sure.
Well,
I can see that.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm saying like a man that wants to dress like a woman and be feminine feels more natural being feminine. Wouldn't you agree? So being masculine would kind of take them in an unnatural state. Wouldn't you agree?
Talking to the mic.
So, like, just to his point about being masculine and about liking a woman.
Yes.
That's a natural connection for me. But because
for you though, because you're
whether or not it is. So let's just say that you have a proclivity to become homosexual, and so let's say you're 11, 12, and you kind of think you like boys, but when you go through puberty, you really like boys. That we'll just use the homosexual example for you. In that case, if he had made the decision at some point to transition to become a woman, when he had not had the full information, understood his maleness is different from my maleness. I have heterosexual maleness. His maleness is homosexual maleness. Well, I'm not fully in my maleness until I go through puberty. So for me to transition before that point, not only do I not have the full information, it's also not fair because my parents had their full information before they got to choose, but I didn't. You see what I'm saying?
But also you proclaim that you really love being feminine. And so having a masculine man will balance you out. Could you see yourself being with a bisexual man that has sex with other men? Would that turn you on?
I mean, it wouldn't turn me on. I would just be indifferent. I could date a bisexual man as long as he was like masculine. When it came to me,
even in homosexual relationships, there's always a top and a bottom. There's always a masculine and a feminine.
Yeah, what if it was a bottom?
I don't think he would be attracted to me. If someone is
hold on, but the thing is, even in lesbian relationships, you're right. There's a top and a bottom. But what does that express?
But you notice that,
but that is binary in and of itself.
That heterosexual dynamic is it's a feature of
feminine
humanity.
men, like that's not a bisexual or homosexual. Like it's not closed to that.
No,
There's
correct.
A lot of
and that's what is that? But queer or I forgot what it's called. But there's
preference.
another term for that.
So I think what she's saying is her personal preference. Someone else in her stance could also say that, you know.
Oh, it's not about personal preference. It's just keep your hands off my kids. That's all I'm saying. That's the only point we're trying to make here. And that is like I don't understand that why the Democrat Party would choose that hill to literally die on, because that's what's
I
happening.
think that's just very sad. And like from just I don't know, from like a mother's standpoint, you protect your kids at all costs. If someone went around me and did anything like that to my child, that's irreversible. Like I said, I would be in prison. I would not let that go. You don't touch my kid. You don't touch my kid without permission. Just like he said, if my child walked into your salon and wanted to get their hair colored, you wouldn't be able to do it. How the hell can a child come into a hair salon to get their hair colored and you tell them no, but my child comes to school and says, I want to be a boy, but my mommy doesn't like it. And now you start pumping my child with hormones. I would be up at that school and I would be walked off by police. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful. Let's go to the.
There's no such thing as trans. You're just gay and boring.
Everything.
I'm serious.
That's horribly offensive.
Yes,
Rollo, that's incredibly offensive.
Market update.
Right.
Well, I'm on my way home from Arizona and Las Vegas, and I figured I'd make a quick video. Guys, Bitcoin just hit all-time highs. I've been telling you that we've been waiting for the election. We needed to know the direction of where the country's going, and it looks like Donald Trump is going to win. We are going to have a massive bull run. Like I said, either way, but we've been waiting. Big money's been waiting to see who's going to be in control of the United States, who's going to dictate where money goes, regulation, all these different things. Is Gary Gensler going to be here or not? And obviously, well, we know the crypto mom's coming in that place. This is super bullish for all of us. So congratulations if you've held your bags. The next 12 months, the next 15 months are going to be absolutely insane. It will not be straight up, but this is what we've been waiting for. So hopefully you guys have been dollar cost averaging. If you haven't, it's going to probably be a massive regret of yours. But hey, don't say that I didn't talk about it, because I did multiple times. Love y'all. Make sure you guys like, share, follow.
Listen, he hadn't won the election yet. Like when I saw that video, I was like, I don't know how long it took you to upload that motherfucker, but he's up by 16 electoral votes right now.
He's
like
hanging on by a string.
Again, listen, I'm what are we at? 213, 248. Okay, that's a little bit of a separation. All right, we're gonna hopefully. Well, I think while we're on the air, we're gonna probably get the announcement.
I hope so.
All she's got left is Minnesota.
Okay, beautiful.
Which is going to be 10, so it'll be 223.
Nevada's going to be
and then the
6.
remainders will all pretty much fall Trump's way.
And you think it's going to do it tonight?
Yeah, because
if they get to 260,
Pennsylvania can't stop counting like they did last time. They have to continue to count. So they will know tonight. And
Okay.
they're at 86% right now.
And at 11 p.m. here, which is when we're probably going to end the show, will be 2 o'clock in the morning there. So most likely we are gonna hear the announcement on the show.
Wow.
You all right?
Yay.
Is that Galloway? Is that Galloway?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's go through them all.
Okay.
Do you have red?
The last time
I'll do
they
it.
really like
I hit this one.
Let's knock them all out.
like at the end. I remember
Yeah.
it was like someone bought the election last time. That's what it felt like. It was so weird. Like last minute.
Hold on, but you know what the thing is?
That's
Like,
the
I'm not trying to say for or against, and obviously there was some collusion in the election last
Shenanigans.
time. But the reason why we all felt that way is because these social media platforms make us think that everyone thinks like us. Guys, please. One of my favorite podcasts is It's Just Banter, TC Fleming and Jake Kemp.
That's
And
creative.
these guys are both socialists. They're not actual socialists, but the stuff they talk about is socialist. I listen to Jasmine Jafar. She's a friend of mine. And they don't agree with my politics. Guys, get out of your
Because
fucking...
she's a paid political operative.
Get out of your fucking... Guys, all I'm saying is, regardless of what you believe,
Crisis
get out
actress.
of your echo chamber. Get out of your echo chamber. And I don't mean that figuratively. I mean that these platforms are going to they're going to see what you like, and they're going to put you in this little circle, and they're not going to let you out. Every once in a while, go listen to Scott Galloway, go listen to Richard Reeves, go watch something that's outside. Even Rachel Maddow's got something fucking crazy to say. Go listen to what she has to say. Get out of it there so the algorithm is like, okay, this person's a little bit more open-minded, and we're not going to pin them in this small little echo chamber, because when you're in the echo chamber, every election's stolen. Every election seems stolen to you. Every single one. So that's the only thing I would say.
And there's a Jew under every rock.
Okay, be careful. Be careful, because we just lost our YouTube.
The election
whatever.
is going to be decided by mass
Okay, guys,
What do I
can we
mean
start
by
over?
that?
Guys, time out real quick. Can we start over? Can everyone be quiet? And let's go ahead and do this again.
Here we go.
I think the election is going to be decided by masculinity. What do I mean by that? The voters that are kind of up for grabs right now are not young women. They're going Harris. It's not old people. Yeah. Old men. They're going Trump. Young men aren't really going towards the Republican Party, as a lot of people would say, or the manosphere. Young men actually are supportive of gender rights, any demographic. What they're doing is they're moving away from the Democratic Party because they don't feel seen. On the DNC site, there's an explicit section that says who we serve, and it lists 16 different demographic groups, from people of faith to immigrants, to Asians, Pacific Islanders, blacks, women, disabled, veterans. I tried to calculate it. My best estimate is it covers 76% of the population. They have the same issue that universities have, or the DEI apparatus has at university. When you are explicitly advocating and favoring 76% of the population, you're not advocating for them, you're discriminating against the 24%. So unfortunately, these individuals feel shunned by what I'll call more progressive or the establishment. They're very drawn to anyone who feels their pain. And unfortunately, that void has been filled by some very negative voices.
Like who, Scott? Like fucking who?
So one of the things
names, Scott.
One of the things I really enjoy about Scott Galloway is that he's a liberal, but he's pointing out the flaws, the chink in their armor, while at the same time still supporting Kamala Harris. When he does so, one of the things he says is that the way men are being ignored, and it's true. I'm going to say this real quick. Everybody, we're going to have like a little prayer circle. I want everyone to close your eyes. Everyone who's out there watching, I want you to close your eyes, okay? I want you to think about these two concepts and what faces come to your mind. Ready? Boss bitch energy and we don't need no man. I want you to think in your mind, what are the faces that come to your mind? You know who she is. She's got a wet ass. You know what I'm saying? She's got a big old booty. You know who I'm thinking about. Who is it? Okay, now open your eyes, okay? And who was speaking at the DNC rallies? Glorilla, Megan Thee Stallion, and fucking Cardi B. If you want to let men know you don't give a fuck about them, those are like, you couldn't have picked any more people. I want you to consider George W. Bush in 2004 being like, hey guys, I want to introduce to you Pimp C, Juicy J, and fucking 3-6 Mafia, guys. Support Republicans and Christianity. They'd be like, but what the hell are you doing? Like, hey, ready guys? It's time for Project Pat and Willie D. They'd be like, what is wrong with you? No, because we wouldn't do that. In this situation, the reason why Cardi B is a legitimate figure in the Democrat Party is because what she's saying is woke. It's not that I'm sorry, as an artist, very talented. as a political figure, this is absurd. You had a woman who robbed a man drugged him and robbed him while she was stripping, and she is speaking at a DNC rally. You have J-Lo up there warning us about Donald Trump. Why didn't you warn us about P. Diddy, J-Lo? Why didn't you warn us about her? Why didn't you warn us about P. Diddy? No, but you want to warn us about Donald Trump? It's ridiculous.
Michael, do you think that this election is less about race compared to when Obama ran?
No, it's more about race for the left than any time I've ever seen, and less about race for the right. But here's the thing with Obama. African-American men voted for Obama 95%. And then it gained progressively less in fact, the amount of African-Americans who voted for Biden was less in general, not just voted for Biden, but it was less. And we've seen that gap go down further and further. When you say it's more about race, for each party, it's more about race. So for instance, for one party, it's all gender politics, and the other party, it has to do with inflation. And we haven't even gotten into the concept of
but
inflation.
I remember when Obama was running, I remember Republicans that were black were saying, I'm going to vote because we need our first black president. In this case, I feel like it's more about her being a woman more than her being a black woman.
But let me ask you a question. When you see them campaigning, who is like her biggest advocate? Like the biggest superstar in the Kamala campaign is who? It is Barack Obama. And when you watch the two of them together, do you feel that she is superior to Barack Obama? No one on their side of the aisle thinks she's superior to Barack Obama. Like you're watching as a Democrat and you're being like, I'm getting the fucking discount candidate. How can you feel any other way? How can you feel when you listen to Barack? By the way, no one here on this side of the aisle is saying that Barack Obama is a magnificent candidate. Maybe not magnificent president, but as a candidate, he was unbelievable. As a speechwriter, for those of you who don't agree with me, I'll be your president too. When he said that shit, I was like, God damn, this man is incredible, an incredible speaker. And what we got is the discount Walmart version of Barack Obama.
Bro,
how do you know? Even if you're a Democrat, how can you disagree with this?
I voted for Barack Obama. And I really wanted a black president, and I was like super liberal Democrat when I was younger. And then when
you got that Rolex,
bro. When I got
you got that Rolex,
oh man!
Now he's betting millions on the outcome of the
$1.8 million.
I'm from California. I was a gang member. I was doing gang activity when I was younger. Finally, got myself out of that and started my own business. When I got to 50, here's a weird thing. When I got to 50 employees. And it was 48, and I wanted to grow my company. The moment Obamacare came about and was like, once you hit 50 employees, I had to come out of pocket $250,000 I didn't have, and it was going to put me out of business. But it was going to put me out of business. I had to slow down my business just to wait until the next election to just get out of that mess. And I could have. It was just a weird scenario, and I remember just being so focused on wanting to be a Democrat, right? But now I'm kind of in the middle now. And especially when you're talking about race, and that's interesting to me because when you said part of the reason why you're voting or you're for Kamala is also for racism in this country. I like racism.
Well, I
like racism. You know what? If there is racism, if there is racism, I like the fact that a white man will tell me, race me, but you can't wear no shoes. And I still want to win. I still want to beat him and then feel like a lot more gratification from that win, which is what most of my life has been about. Just people knocking me or giving me disadvantages, but still, I like the idea of having it be harder and still winning. So even if there was racism, if there was or wasn't, it's just, I don't think it should be a situation that should hold you back, I feel.
You like challenges. You like competition.
I love challenge.
Yeah,
I don't ever think that the right side pushes racism. I think that that's more of in a hidden way. It's right in front of everyone's faces, but people pretend it doesn't exist. They are pushing that more than anything. They are the ones that are putting races against each other when she stands on stage and she says that Donald Trump is a racist. What has he said in this recent campaign that says anything about Black people that is negative, or about Asians, about Hispanics, about anyone? It's her that stands on stage. Her whole campaign, she can't campaign without saying his name. Mm-hmm. Everything is about Donald Trump. When she's asked interview questions, she starts it off with Donald Trump. Why don't you answer the question that somebody asked you? And when people, to bring it back to what you said about voting on race or voting, it's our first. I've seen so many videos on TikTok where girls are like, I think it's great to have a first female president. What could happen? Well, we've had 3.5 years to tell us what could happen. Yeah. And then she's on The View, or I think it was maybe it was either The View or CNN, where they asked her, would you change anything in this course that you've been with Joe Biden for the last 3.5 years? And she said, nothing comes to mind. So if you like paying $500 for your groceries, depending on what car you drive, if you like paying $100 to fill up your tank, then that's what you're going to get if you decided to vote for her. I mean, it comes down.
Hey, Michael, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. If you want to see me put a racist to sleep, go on to hey Rolo.
Is it on your Instagram?
I sent it to your Instagram.
Oh, you did? Okay, hang on. Give me a second.
One thing I want to go over. So this is another issue where I think like a very big losing issue for the Democrats. And I've had this discussion before. If you want, when Joe Biden got into office, the first thing he did on day one, does anyone remember one of his energy policies? He canceled the Keystone Pipeline. That's fine. You think it's an ecological disaster. That's you. Listen, you got elected to become president. You can do that. Oh, that's fine. Executive order. Then he made it so that you couldn't have any new leases on oil contracts. You guys can be quiet here for a second. Thank you. The new leases on oil contracts. And what happened subsequently is the price of oil started to fluctuate and went up pretty rapidly. Now, we still produce oil in this country. We're a net exporter of oil. That's what happened. But when you do that, and then additionally, you start spending money to send $175 billion to Ukraine, and you start spending money for stimulus checks, and by the way, the president has some influence over the Fed. You can't get off your dick to go tell the Fed to raise interest rates. When you do all those things and there's inflation, you need to own it. You need to own it. What I think I don't respect about this administration is if you want to say, well, we cut the Keystone Pipeline because it was an ecological disaster, that's fine, but take responsibility for what you did. And this administration has shamefully acted as if there's inflation and it wasn't their fault. 12 of the last 16 years, which political party has been in power? Do not tell me it's not your fault. Inflation is the biggest indicator here, and it's probably, if you want to say the one reason why Donald Trump might win this election, one reason above everyone else, it is the inflation issue. And the inflation issue is 17% year on year. I was 9% obviously in 1 year, and right now it's only about 3%. But don't sit there and act like the inflation wasn't your fault. MIT, a liberal university in Cambridge, Massachusetts, came out with a study saying that 42% of the reason why we have inflation was because of government spending. They basically putting a thumb right in the Biden administration's eye when they explain that. Again, if the Biden administration wants to say, well, yes, we spent this money, but it was for good reasons, that's fine. But now you take responsibility for what you did. And the reason why my gas prices and my groceries are more expensive is not because of random shit or because of COVID. It is because you spent more money. And if they had taken responsibility for that, I'd have a little bit more respect. But instead, I'm hearing Kamala Harris saying, we're going to drop the prices for everyday things. I'm like,
and then do it.
You raised the prices. But it's like, but the thing is, how can I trust you? Even if I believed that you were going to do things to lower these prices, how can I trust you when you won't even admit it was your fault in the first place? How can I trust you as a candidate? That's my main issue. And if I'm a member of a working class family, how in the fuck am I going to vote for someone like that? I just don't understand. It's like take responsibility for what you did. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Down here.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know what they were saying? If Trump was going to ruin America, he would have done it in his term, and if Biden and Kamala were going to make it better, they would have done it now. I mean, the last 3 years already, but what are they doing? They're just making it progressively worse and worse, and they're not just going to make it better right now just because she's the president.
Do you feel like life was better when from 2016 to 2020?
Oh yeah, when Trump was 100%. I wasn't able to vote back then, but I mean, I for sure was, especially the economy and everything. But that's just like basic that we can all see.
Okay, I have to stop the show for a moment. Okay, so back in, was it 2020? I think it was 2020. I made a prediction. Okay, and people have been holding me to this prediction. And okay, I will say I wasn't exactly 100% accurate in this prediction, but I did say this. When Biden came into office in 2021, really, I said this. I said, Biden is so far gone cognitively that Kamala Harris will take over the presidency at some point. Right? Like I said, August. Okay, I was wrong about August. I was wrong about the timeline, but I wasn't wrong about the fact that she took over the presidency. Now, here's why. So people have been throwing this back at me. I don't know. At this time, right now, what are we, 4 years later? I've got all these guys in my DMs and in my Twitter right now saying, "You were wrong about that, man. You weren't really psychic." I got a secret. I'm not actually psychic. So I made this prediction, and so everybody wants to throw it back in my face. But I'll tell you why I wasn't wrong. I get off on a technicality because Kamala Harris is actually our first female president. You know how?
Oh my God,
In
you scared the shit out of
2022,
me.
in August of 2022, Joe Biden was put under sedation.
Yes.
He was put under
It's the
anesthesia.
James, is it 26th Amendment? What is this?
Yes.
26th.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
He was put under. He was
Yeah.
put under.
26th Amendment,
He was
hold
put under anesthesia in August for, I think it was prostate surgery or something like that. I can't remember what it was for. She was president for 85 minutes. I fucking win. I won. I was right. Thank you. She was the first female president, and I was accurate about that. I just get off on a technicality. So, just saying, she was actually the first acting, first acting president.
44% Trump for Nevada. This can't be right.
What is it? What'd you say?
The first drop just came in.
For Nevada, yeah, but it's saying, but what I'm reading here, it can't be right. It can't be 44%.
No, they just started bringing in the votes.
Oh, for Nevada?
Yeah, they just started bringing.
I thought you said
the first Trump, and it's already red. See, because
Oh, okay. So, because Clark County already went, right?
You know what's crazy is when I was voting.
Oh.
When I was voting today.
Hey guys, one at a time. Go ahead.
When I was voting today, I actually was in line with people who it was a couple that came from Wisconsin, and they've lived here, but they work out of both states, so they've kept their ID as Wisconsin.
Which one's that?
And
AP?
they wanted to partake in our in Nevada's, I guess, election, or voting here, because they just said that Wisconsin is just so far liberal that they didn't feel like their vote mattered. So they literally went through the process of getting an ID, even though they didn't have to here in Vegas, just so they could vote and try to push the state red, which I thought was really cool.
Michael, I mean, Trump
Yeah.
Trump in general is for
The 25th
business.
Amendment. I was wrong.
If he's for business, and then you have people of color that the only way to get any kind of economic power is to start your own business. And so obviously, when it comes to race in this country, I think a president that's going to promote business will empower people of color in the best way. Wouldn't you agree?
Of course. And so let's. Do you want to go through some more of the?
Yeah.
When I went to go vote, I showed them my ID, and then the poll workers were like, "Oh, I can't ask for this, but thanks." Basically saying that they can't ask for my ID.
Isn't it crazy?
It's I just I
Okay,
can't
ready? Here,
understand
I got
that.
the next one. So the first one is my first point is the Democrat Party needs to own the inflation that we're experiencing. Even if you have a good reason for it, own it. If you're not going to own it, then don't ask me to trust you to fix it, because I don't trust you. But number two, you know what? I'm going to ask you guys a question. Is the United States the only country in the world that has free and fair elections? Is there any other country that has free and fair elections besides the United States? What do you think?
More.
The UK.
And is there any other country that has ever had free and fair elections? Any country?
The UK.
The UK has free and fair elections. Does France they ever have free and fair elections? What do you think? Maybe they have free and fair elections. Does Germany have free and fair elections? Spain has. Okay, cool. Why is it okay for them to have voter ID? Thank you.
The end.
I'm sick of this shit about there's some kind of discrimination with voter ID. It's utter nonsense. If you get an offender bender, the police can ask for your ID. Are they violating your civil rights? When I go apply for a home, they have to get my identification. Are they violating my civil rights when they're doing that? I don't understand how this is a violation of my civil rights. You know what's a violation of my civil rights? People who don't belong in my election voting in my election. That is a violation of my civil rights. I have the right to a free and fair election. That's a violation of my civil rights. And when Chuck Schumer says verbatim that he cannot wait to take all these undocumented workers and make them documented so that they can vote in elections, he is doing this for one reason. So if he does that, then they will vote Democrat in perpetuity and they never have to run an election again. That is the whole point. And if you don't understand that, then that is the only reason, the only legitimate reason anybody can be opposed to voter ID. There's two types of people who are opposed to voter ID. The people who understand that they're being crooked, and the people who are fooled by the first group. That's the only type of people that are against voter ID. There's no possible legitimate reason to be against voter ID.
I was watching some of these. I knew this was going to happen. Right before all this, when it was early voting and stuff, and people were saying, "Oh, I'm trying to use these machines, and it only will accept the Kamala Harris Kamala Harris selection, and if I try to put it on Trump, it switches back." I don't know if it's bullshit, whatever. But I kept thinking about this, and was it in a 2019, 2020? I was saying, look, our voting technology right now we are one of the most advanced countries on planet fucking Earth, and we can't figure this shit out. I was telling
we can figure it out.
Well, I know we can. We are either unable or unwilling, and I would say we're definitely unwilling.
Yeah, let me tell you guys what's happening. Yeah, 210-247. I'm looking on Fox News. It's 216-248.
Yeah, that's Decision Desk. Decision Desk has 223-240.
All right, listen.
Decision Desk is the most accurate.
All right, listen. The reason why is because if we ever get to the point where we're using blockchain and biometrics for voting, like at that point, Chuck Schumer can't lie anymore. They can't They can't sit there and try to.
They will fight that tooth and nail.
They can't do it anymore because so they're trying to get these in as much as they can under the radar before we get to the point. Because guys, the idea, if you think 100 years from now they're not going to be asking for your ID when you vote, you're a moron. We're just getting in the way of progress. Obviously, that's what's going to happen. It's just it's crazy.
I was going to say, I was telling these guys right before the show, I was like, I just watched that video of what Elon Musk's SpaceX when that rocket comes out of the sky and it just falls down. And like the rig catches it, the big tower scaffolding catches it. I'm like, how the fuck can we do this? Mm-hmm. Like, how can Elon Musk is like a Trump supporter, like crazy. Like, how the fuck, Elon? How can we do this? But we're still struggling to figure out how to do a verifiable, election. Or
because it's the government. Guys, the government is so incredible. I worked for the federal government for 7 years as a military officer. It's so incredibly slow. People think of it as like sort of this like nefarious animal that creeps in the dark and like waits in the wilderness or like to try to hurt you. No, the government just doesn't care about you.
There are more regulations. There are more checks and balances and more regulations on the video poker machines and the slot machines and those casinos back there than there are on your sacred right to a fucking free and fair election.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because if your vote doesn't matter, then fucking the country doesn't matter.
You think that it's slow versus like corruption?
Versus, it's a great question. It's nefarious versus negligent, and I think it's mostly negligent. I want you to think about if you've ever seen an alligator that's so big it can't feed itself anymore. That's what the federal government is, and the only thing that can feed it is the American people shoving its tax dollars into the mouth of the fat alligator. If you let the alligator, if you pin someone down in front of the alligator, it will kill you. It will kill you. I'm not saying it won't. What I'm saying is the alligator is just too fat to feed itself. The idea that like these government agencies did some of these nefarious actions, if they did so, it was an accident. It was totally by accident. If you've ever worked for the federal government, you realize Elon Musk had a really great saying. He goes, "It was easy. I was able to build a heavy rocket to go into space faster than I was able to get the regulation approved by the government to build the rocket. I built the rocket in 2 months. It took me 6 months to get it approved."
They just called Decision Desk or Google, or is it Google? Google just called Alaska. So now,
there's a shock.
That's not a shock because he's up by 15 points. All he has to do now with Alaska called, he's at 251. All he needs to do is get one of two of the remaining four of Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. He's leading in every single one of them. And he's at 91% in Pennsylvania. He's up by over almost 250,000 votes.
Come on.
It's still a long way to go in Michigan, but they're almost at 90% in Wisconsin, and he's up by 4 points. And the lead that he's got in Arizona is staying pretty steady.
Did you guys see the video where Elon Musk was like, if she does get into office, this will be the last election that we are able to partake in? Did you? I think it was Joe Rogan.
It was Joe Rogan last night. So let's talk about that. So what we've seen is before the idea of like a police state guarding our freedom of speech, before it was just sort of this abstract idea that we didn't understand. And then the United Kingdom, guys, I want you guys to do something. Those of you who are watching this right now, I want you to do a little experiment for me. I want you to get on whatever platform you want. You want to use Meta AI, you want to use ChatGPT, you want to use whichever one you want to use. Elon Musk went on Joe Rogan last night and he made this statement. He goes, in the United Kingdom, they have put thousands of people in jail. They have prosecuted thousands of people for their social media posts. So I was like, I need to know about this. Let me go check Meta AI. You know what Meta AI told me? That's an exaggeration. That can't be true. And then I asked Meta AI, so how many people have they prosecuted? And then in Meta AI, I'm not kidding, goes 3,395. And I was like, you just said they haven't put thousands of people prosecuted thousands of people. And Meta AI goes, my what's it called? Sorry for the misinterpretation or my mistake. And then says, yes, they apparently have done it. And then I go on Grok and I ask the same thing. And Grok says 5,500 people in the United Kingdom they have put in jail. So like are not put in jail, but they have prosecuted for reasons of social media posts that supposedly incite hate. They have put people in jail for homophobic slurs. Homophobic slurs, which by the way, if you want to say homophobic slurs are deplorable, that's fine if that's your opinion. My point is it's not illegal. That's ridiculous for that to be illegal. So now the first example we have is United Kingdom. The second example we have is Trudeau. Trudeau in Canada, they freeze bank accounts of people who speak against him. We've seen this.
Ryan Stone.
So the point I'm trying to make is it's not a function of, hey, you taking away our freedom of speech is not some abstract thought. It's not some Orwellian idea that may happen. It's not some red herring that Republicans are coming up with. We see it in the United Kingdom. We see it in Canada. And my man Gad Sad warned us. He said, we're going to see it here. And if you listen to Kamala Harris, she said point blank, she says, we are letting these social media platforms say whatever they want and there's no regulation over them. And that has to stop. And you hear this, and then we have two very clear-cut examples of English-speaking Western democracies where they police what you say. The word police still exists. Make Orwell fiction again. I love that. Have you seen the t-shirt that says "Make Orwell fiction again"? Guys, this is 1984, bro. This is we're doing this again. The word police. We're at this place right now. They asked the Google AI one time, "What's worse, thermonuclear war or misgendering Caitlyn Jenner?" And they said misgendering Caitlyn Jenner was worse. And then Caitlyn Jenner responded and says, "No, thermonuclear war is worse," because it is. That's how far things have gotten. So be careful, guys. My whole point is get out of your echo chamber, but also understand. One of the things you need to vote for, while inflation is important, the other thing that's very important, especially for me as a content creator, is my ability for freedom of speech. It is very important because freedom of speech is not just for good ideas. Freedom of speech is also for stupid ideas because freedom of speech allowed Madam Harris to say that there are Madam Harris to say that there are no deployed troops for the first time in history. There are no troops deployed in combat zones anywhere in the United States. And then you see the video and there's these troops and they're like, then what the fuck are we doing? because freedom of speech allows you to say stupid shit too. And that's why it's important.
Well, it's going to make you ignorant. It's going to make the American people ignorant. You're going to only be able to believe what they're allowing you to see.
For sure.
It's going to cause a very socialistic style of government. That's my personal belief. And
buy my books in the print version now.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's do it.
I got a good one here for you. Hang on. This is so funny.
We got 19
It's
electoral votes
personality
to go.
when you can switch who you are at the push of a button.
It's Sid Swish Kamala. That's right.
Oh, hello, young lady. Quite a marvelous day, isn't it?
Why does she talk so weird? Let me play with her.
Well, hey there, little nugget. I'm going to be the first black female president of the United States of America.
Man, this doll sucks.
Accent Switch Kamala can emulate any accent you like, as long as it grants her credibility.
Bonjour, tu aimes les croissants?
Merde américaine.
Guten Tag, Sie lieben ein Bratwurst? Ufta, 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 da.
Luke, I am your mother.
Sid Swish Kamala. That's right.
But wait, there's more. All new Accent Switch Kamala comes with 2 bags of campaign money, a blind eye for illegal immigration, and her own multi-laugh 3000 generator. Laugh in every way possible. Let Accent Switch Kamala turn your life into a complete circus.
When you give me more money, like Uncle Joey did.
Don't you wear a little mad? The money's coming.
I don't understand.
Oh, excuse me, honey.
I meant to say, the money is coming. I love ice cream from on a map.
It's Accent Switch Kamala and brand new Tampon Tim.
You know, my grandma always used to say,
Kamala Janu, please wash your hands so we can eat our chicken masala.
It's Sid Swish Kamala.
I told you would like that one.
Where did you find
Dude,
that?
the amount of work.
That's amazing.
The amount of work that went into that little kid like freaking out. Oh my gosh. Shout out to whoever that person is. That is incredible.
And shout out to whoever sent that to me at the 0 hour today.
Unbelievable. All right, let's keep reacting.
Like we were looking for videos for today, and I go, "Oh, I am."
Hey, ladies, by the way, feel free to interrupt and interject at any point. If you want to say something, feel free to interject. I want you guys to all have your say in here. Do we have another video coming up?
Yeah, let me grab.
That was pretty awesome.
She's kind of a puppet, though, right? Like, it feels to me like they just put her there, and they're like, okay, Joe Biden can't do it anymore because he's technically dead now. So, like, let's just put someone else.
The level of like pandering, and people should take it as people should take it offensively.
I think the best way to describe it is
awful.
Kamala Harris thinks she's talking to poor people. She's only talking to woke people. That's the problem. And the thing is, poor people. People don't understand. She doesn't understand, because if she understood what she was doing, what she would do is she would have gone on Joe Rogan. If she actually is like, I want to talk to the common man, she wouldn't have ducked Joe Rogan. She wouldn't go on call her daddy and say, can you guys think of a single law that deals with male sexual rights? I'm like, I can think of one. It's called the Selective Service, motherfucker. It means I got to sign up for the U.S. military and women don't. How about that one? You ever heard of that one before? I got another one. It's called alimony. 98% of it is paid from a man to a woman. That's another one. Oh, there's a couple of laws that regulate only men.
It's even better now. Actually, you don't go and sign up for Selective Services. They do it for you now.
Thank you.
Right on your 18th birthday.
My ass, listen, my heart is from Texas, but my ass belongs to the U.S. Air Force.
Yes. Go. Captain, my captain. Here we go.
Is this stuff that's trying to embarrass him? I think that actually helps him. It's a strategy, and we're being played. And the problem is that takes up oxygen in the room, as opposed to talking about real issues that might actually change voters' minds, such as if his proposed tariffs ever become a reality, and there's anything in congruence with what he's planning to do with immigration, both legal and illegal, that is literally a peanut butter and chocolate combination for runaway inflation. His proposed economic plan, the deficit would be triple what it is under the proposed economic plan of Harris. That is effectively the biggest tax increase in history on young people, because I won't be here to pay back that debt. I'll get the champagne and cocaine that will create. I'll get the stimulus for it. It'll prop up my assets, which I already own, because we have enough creditworthiness to pay it back for 20 or 30 years. We'll be fine. But when shit gets real in 20 or 30 years, it's going to be really ugly. If I was a young person, I'd want to know, wait, that's about to be the largest tax increase in history on me. But we don't get time to talk about this stuff because we're talking about fucking Ave Maria.
Turn it up louder.
All right, so I respectfully don't fully disagree with Scott Galloway. I don't necessarily think that his ideas on immigration are going to cause a peanut butter and chocolate form of inflation. I think what's causing a peanut butter and chocolate form of inflation is $175 billion to Ukraine. I think that might have a little bit more to do with it, and also and excessive levels of spending. Do you guys know that there are more government agencies? There's almost twice as many government agencies as there are years that this republic has been in existence. Isn't that fun? And you know what? There's nobody who is like 450 of them. Nobody even knows what they all do. Maybe that would be a great place to start for getting rid of the federal deficit. Maybe if we started cutting spending, maybe that might be the issue. I don't know. I'm not saying Scott Galloway is wrong. Obviously there are some issues, especially with tariffs. I think Elon Musk put out a really, really great, the way he said it was probably the most articulate. You can't just spring tariffs on people. If you do, then you're going to disrupt supply chains, and that will create inflation. That's definitely true. But I think tariffs, to a certain extent, you can use tariffs or the threat of tariffs to get certain companies in line. And you can also encourage manufacturing in the United States. The United States is the second biggest manufacturer of goods in the entire world. Anyway, we got another one?
What you got for me?
Trump's up in Nevada, 70% reporting. He's up by 1 point. That's going to close pretty quick the way they do it. They're going to make Arizona look like snails. It's tough to see that with 91% reported in Pennsylvania that she's going to be able to make up the gap of over 120,000 votes.
If he picks up Nevada and Arizona, does he win?
So if he picks up Nevada, Arizona, which he is, it's just Arizona's going to take a week to count.
Yeah, as usual. Well done again. Once again, well done, Arizona. Right on.
Right now, Fox News is 248, 216, and Perplexity has it at.
Yeah, they don't have. They either don't have. Well, they've got Alaska in there. They probably don't have Nebraska. They don't have Maine 2, Nebraska 1, or Nebraska 3 in there for their count.
Yeah, Kamala for Perplexity, it's 247, 214. So it's a 30-point lead right there. And what was he looking at? 251. What you're saying on here? 251, 213.
She'll most likely pick up Maine. She'll pick up Nebraska 2. She'll pick up Maine. and she'll pick up Wisconsin.
What if Trump gets Nevada and Arizona, but she gets Pennsylvania? Does that not matter?
To like know that there's one Democrat like looking.
Trump just needs to take either Wisconsin or Michigan with Nevada and Arizona, and he wins.
No, it's not. I mean, it's actually really. So, I mean,
but she's not going to get
voter ID.
Pennsylvania.
People are like, well, there's no voter ID fraud. My question is, how would you know? If there's no voter ID fraud, you can't check anyone's identification.
All right, let me get to super chats on the topic of racism. As a southerner who has relatives enjoy dressing up as ghosts, I support Harris's track record of imprisoning black men and suppressing evidence of their innocence. But that's right, because she do that?
So here's the thing. The argument that I've heard is that she wasn't actually putting. There have been men that she's put in behind bars that were innocent. There's one guy she put in behind bars for 50 years, and turns out, like after 3 years of appeals, he got out. But the excuse that I've heard is that she didn't actually put those black men behind bars; that it was the individual district attorneys.
It was for like weed.
Yeah, but it was the individual district attorneys. The thing is, the attorney general of the state of California can mandate what other things are priorities to be prosecuted. And under her administration, she decided that marijuana was something that needed to be prosecuted and disproportionately prosecuted African American men. I'm sorry for the liberals who want to try to squeeze this way out of it, but her viewpoints on marijuana at the time were incredibly not progressive. Of all the progressive things she feels that she was doing, that was very not progressive. So, at that point, I'm telling you right now, she didn't talk black at that point. I guarantee you that she was laughing at
Similar to crack cocaine. Similar to what they did with crack
Bro,
cocaine.
that whole crack powder and crack cocaine thing was so disproportionately punishing of African American men. It was ridiculous, especially in the state of Texas. It was insane. All right, cool.
Let me grab another one here. The quote unquote, the top 10% of men on dating apps get 63% of right swipes. What is the source of this? The article you linked the first time I asked does not contain that statistic. It's actually from Men Behaving Badly. It's Dr. David Buss's.
I'll go look it up. I'll look it up on Perplexity. But this is data from the eHarmony. That's where I got that from.
Okay. eHarmony.
No, it is. eHarmony.
Are they still even around?
I don't know if that's a scholarly.
Stop. eHarmony. Okay. On eHarmony's site said the company that owns eHarmony was looking at their own data to say what percentage of men get 63% of the right swipes. It was 10% of men. It is actually factual.
Are there what ones?
No.
Okay.
Right swipes.
Oh, right swipes. Right swipes. Got it.
Right swipes.
This is, I hate to keep asking, but I would hate to see you be unable to produce a source or something like that on Joe Rogan's podcast. I sent Rolla a link to the first article you sent me. Okay. We will look that up and follow that up studiously. In the meantime, let's do, this is great. Here we go.
What?
No, we're not going to call it for a little while.
Hang on one second. Here you go.
There's only.
Let's start over. Everybody, I need everybody to be quiet. Can we turn the volume up on this and let's start over? Can we do that again?
I'll try. Yeah, take a look at this real quick. Does that look weird to you? Yeah, just right in the back there. Right after I helped the country.
You have the other one?
Yeah, I do. Let me grab that other one.
Rolo, put up that video of me knocking that racist out.
Maybe they are.
I have it on me. Oh, here it is. Okay, this is a good one.
I'll be right behind you.
See what six.
Hey, let me start over. There you go.
I'll be right behind you.
See what six, dumbass.
What the hell?
That's pretty funny.
No.
Awesome. You have another one here?
I got more.
Yep.
Are you still trying to find that? Let's do not that one. Let's do this one. Okay, here we go.
I've seen this tweet going around today from Elon Musk. Claims that Google is giving information on where to vote for Harris, but no information on where to vote for Trump. If you typed in the phrase where to vote for Harris, you get information on where to vote.
Oh, time out.
Wait.
Time out.
Stop.
Go.
270?
Wait.
270? What's up? What's up? Hey, sushi on me.
Is this like, stop? Is it a joke? Are you kidding?
Fox is calling
I'm blind, so I can't
Pennsylvania.
It
for
does,
Trump.
but I don't.
Dinner's on me. Dinner's on me.
You guys can cheer louder if you want to cheer. I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a chance to do this.
No, really, my heart is racing.
Right now, Fox News has 267, but this is what is it called? Decision Desk is at 270. Fox at 267.
Yeah, because Decision Desk gave them with Anchorage with
It's gonna
Pennsylvania.
cry.
He's got
That's
270.
Decision Desk has it at 10:24 p.m. And I'm guessing we're probably in the next 30 minutes going to get the other two.
I kept saying there's no way he was going to close 120,000 votes with only 9% left.
Okay, but
it just wasn't going to happen because all the votes were coming in from rural counties in Pennsylvania. They weren't coming in from the big cities, from Philly and Pittsburgh.
Does that mean he won?
Well, yeah, according to Decision Desk, he won. Yes,
according to Decision Desk.
That means he won. But let's
the other dominoes will likely fall here soon. I'm supposed to speak.
Yeah, so I'm looking right now again at Fox News, and it's 267 for Trump. Okay, all right, good. We're gonna celebrate. Everybody, let's look up at the screen here real quick. Let's do this next video, the one you had right there.
Oh, the other one. Let's see where it is. No, not that one.
Nope, not that one.
Oh, here we go.
Type in the phrase.
Yeah, I'll back up.
So you might have seen this tweet going around today from Elon Musk. Claims that Google is giving information on where to vote for Harris, but no information on where to vote for Trump. If you typed in the phrase where to vote for Harris, you get information on where to vote. If you typed in the phrase where can I vote for Trump, you get news stories. Now, because the world's richest man was tweeting about this, Google fixed it pretty quickly, and they responded saying this happened because Harris is the name of a county in Texas. They also pointed out that Vance is the name of a county as well, so the same thing was happening. They said very few people searched those specific terms, and if you go to google.com, you will see information on where to vote, no matter who you're voting for.
Okay. I mean, if that's what they want to say, but that was a pretty big news story. But my favorite part about it was that he tweeted. What if he had not tweeted about it?
Yeah. Would anybody
have anybody knows?
Yeah.
The other thing I want to point out is what happened when with YouTube when the Donald Trump interview with Joe Rogan came out, and it wasn't even when you search for it, it didn't even show up.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the crazy part: it's not just that it didn't show up; it wasn't even trending. It got 100 million views, and it wasn't trending, bro. That is like deliberate at that point. That's the point I'm trying to make. And the thing is, when it comes to our information, social media platforms have a disproportionately large amount of leverage when it comes to our the information that we receive. So one of the things I like to do is I like to look at Grok. If I'm going to look at ChatGPT, I'm also going to look at Grok. If I'm going to look at Google, I'm going to go back and look at Grok, just because Grok is the AI platform that's run by Twitter, and it's not perfect, but it's still better. And I have noticed that I get different information on those different platforms. So I like Grok. Anyway, cool. Let's see. What else do we have? Do we have any more?
Got one more. There we go.
Poll out of Iowa. It shows Vice President Harris up 3 points over the former president, 47% to 44%. Now, that number is still within the margin of error, so there's no clear leader. Former president attacked the pollster and said the poll was intentionally skewed to favor Harris.
I got a poll. I'm 10 points up in Iowa. One of my enemies just puts out a poll. I'm 3 down. Why do they announce a poll that's highly skewed toward Democrats and liberals? Why do they do that? When you read it, they interviewed far more Democrats than they did Republicans. Why did they do that? Why did they do that?
When former President Trump says we interviewed more Democrats, well, that's what came out of our data. We did nothing to make that happen. The best news I can deliver is my best shot at what's true, because then you know what you're working with and you can make adjustments as you need to. But I can't see that there's any advantage to me or my career in messing with the numbers to make it look a particular way.
Well, there's about to be a big fucking disadvantage because Donald Trump won Iowa by 14 points, by almost 300,000 votes. And I know one pollster I'm not hiring for the next election.
Yes.
Not only what Donald Trump said, he said he sounded like a bumbling idiot. No, what he turned out to be absolutely true. He won by 14 percentage points with 95% of the Iowa vote coming in.
Exactly what he said.
Like literally exactly what he said was true. He's like, I'm up by 10 points and they're saying I'm down by 3, and he wins by 14 points. It's 295,000 people. It's just madness. Anyway, cool. I thought that was a pretty interesting one. Hold on, by the way, I put that in the queue, not knowing he was going to win Iowa. I put that in the queue, and he just destroyed. I had like no idea he was going to win Iowa.
Perfect timing. Since Kamala is vice president and head of the Senate, she will have to confirm Trump as president.
Of course, yeah, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. That's what who certified, and it's kind of turnabout's fair play because who certified Biden's presidency? Do you remember? Who's the vice president of the United States under Trump?
Pence.
Mike Pence. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why Trump doesn't talk to Pence anymore. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, do we have any more?
I think we're just about out, man.
Nice. Okay, beautiful. Let me see here. So right now we are at
Wait, so just because they call it, does that mean like that's like
all right, so here's the thing. You're asking about the legal mechanisms to certify this. It's not even certified until the Electoral College actually occurs. What is it? Each state sends one person to be there to give out their electoral vote. Some people, maybe it's more than one.
Each state has a number of delegates based upon their population.
Yeah, the population.
They
so
send a ballot of delegates.
So what we're seeing could just be bullshit right
It's
now?
not. It could be bullshit. There would be no precedent for this. I mean, technically, could the delegates vote wherever
there could be
they want?
some shenanigans
Yeah,
between
it could be.
now.
I believe the number of electoral votes is you add the senators and the congressmen together. Is that correct? That's how you get the electoral.
No, it's they issued their ballots to the Senate, and then the House and the Senate voted up or down.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is the state of Texas, if I forgot how many senators they have, but it's the number of congressmen plus senators equals the number of electoral votes. I believe that's the case of how the Electoral College works. So that still has to happen, and then they certify him being a president. But he isn't even going to get sworn in until February.
The next Congress gets sworn in, then they hold the delegates, and then they voted in, and then it's official.
That's the way it works. Yeah, and like what I'm saying is that's 270 you see up there. I don't think is going to cause Kamala Harris to give a concession speech in the next 30 minutes or anything like that. I think we still have a ways to go.
Trump's supposed to speak soon. The other thing too is even with California reporting, Trump's up by 5 million in the popular vote.
Yeah.
5 million? That's crazy.
Million.
That's
wow. So this will be the first time. That's another good trivia question. When was the last time a Republican won the popular vote?
It would have been before. So Gore and then
Reagan.
I was just going to say the last red wave was like.
No, it was Bush 1.
Bush one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this real quick. We skipped over this, and I wanted to ask you a question. The men that you would choose to date, do you see them? Have you ever dated a guy who's a liberal, a guy who's a conservative? Are there conservative things you see in men that you find attractive, or liberal things that you see in men that you find attractive?
Well, I have a really traditional view. Like I'm Bulgarian, so like my parents are immigrants, and I just kind of have that view. So like my thing is, you kind of have to be conservative, just because if you're like a liberal man, most likely I don't know. I just feel like you're not gonna like have that like manly role that I want you to pertain in a relationship. So I just don't see it. And you're most likely not going to be good with money either. It's a deal breaker.
That's funny.
It's just true.
That's funny.
It's a deal breaker for me.
Mia, what about you?
I've never dated a liberal man. I need a provider, a supporter. I need someone strong and dominator because I'm very much of a strong female, so I need someone to be more dominant than me. And I don't feel like a liberal man would be able to dominate me. I feel like I need someone who knows how to run a business and how to, just be a man. And to me, dating a Republican is a no-brainer.
He's sitting right here. Like, why are you talking about him like this? He's just sitting right there. Sean's just sitting right there. He just minding his own fucking business. And he's just going to talk like he's not right there in front of you.
I do have to say, as a woman that owns a business, I'm incorporated. I have an LLC and I pay taxes. So even though I'm a green card holder and I'm not a citizen yet, I still have to pay taxes, and I live in California. And it's very unfortunate that every April that comes by, I'm like, oh, damn, all this money is going to state tax and it's 9%. So I'm like, I feel like, like being a Republican, when you own a business and you make a lot of money, I would rather save that money on taxes and donate it to charity and places that you actually know where your money is going for, than it's actually going to taxes and like you don't know where exactly what they're doing with this money. It's probably all bullshit. So
I mean, the argument would be the money is better in my hands. Right. I've always had that belief. I was like, you wanted the best place to put the money with me.
If you want to make the world better
Yes.
and you keep the money to yourselves, people that have money like Elon Musk per se, we're talking about him. If you're that level of rich, like you want to help to make the world better. So if you're a Republican and you make a lot of money and you generate millions of dollars, if they don't take all your money away from you, like let's just say he moved all of his business to Texas, like we've mentioned before, like Tesla and all of these other businesses. Now he has more money to generate more income to support whatever he believes in. So
hire more people.
Hire more people.
More people to work because my ex-husband and I owned a company.
Talking to the mic.
Yeah, my ex-husband and I owned a company, and you give people work, which
now
is very, very helpful for like the world and the global economy and everything else.
Now, my first time in San Francisco, we were talking about San Francisco because that's where you're from, right?
Yeah.
I was, as an immigrant that came to see San Francisco for the first time in my life, we're talking about like the capital of Intel and like high tech and leave sexuality alone for a second.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like high tech. Like I own stocks. Most of my stocks are high tech stocks. Okay, like Amazon, like Apple, like I also have Nvidia and LA Lilly. But like I'm talking about like major high tech stocks right now. Like most of the high tech like I would say capitals are in San Francisco, and this city, I feel like the people that like own those companies, they don't even live in San Francisco. So I'm like, when you go there, all you see is homeless and needles of heroin on the floor and tents and homeless and everywhere. So I'm like, I don't know. Like it feels to me like a lot of people that vote liberal are woke, and I get it, but they're actually, in my opinion, brainwashed because they don't really know what they're voting for. They're just voting for, oh, I'm voting black, I'm voting female, I'm voting this. Like per se right now, I don't think she's even black.
I'm
She's
gonna
Indian or
be
something.
devil's advocate. Most conservatives don't know what they're voting for. Like they don't understand like that we spend $800 billion on defense. Most Republicans don't know what they're voting for. Like really, truly know what they're voting for. I do understand what you're saying. Most of us though are looking at when you think about. I think about in my mind George W. Bush versus Michael Dukakis. I remember how both parties were painted in the media. I just remember these things. It was very much it's Hulk Hogan versus the Iron Sheik. It's like we as Americans can't take the time to like learn. And hopefully this is something we can fix in the future. But I don't know if it's gonna help here. I think some of these artificial intelligence things have been able to simplify certain ideas for me very, very quickly and been able to like one of the things I love about ChatGPT is I have it make arguments against ideas that I have. I had ChatGPT play devil's advocate to things I believe. It's really interesting because they do the best job that they can. And then I try different. So I'll do it with, again, Grok is furthest to the right. I'll do it with Grok, and then Google AI is furthest to the left. And I'll go through the different platforms and I'll have it say, make an argument for me why I should be in favor or opposed to voter ID. And I haven't got one yet. I still don't have it's just one study done where they say 11% of elderly people or poor people would be disenfranchised. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't, because other countries can have voter ID. But like on other cases, there were things where like, okay, maybe I don't, the inflation argument, for instance, I'm like, hey, make a point for me that inflation is not the Biden administration's fault. And that's one of the great things I love about these artificial intelligence platforms is that you can pick apart your own hypothesis and have like a debate partner to do research for you. So that's why I do really like it. But
where do we go from here? What happens now? Now Trump is in. What do you think happens next?
On one. I want to wait until it's like that on another one.
Hold on, let's finish
the left's already confirmed.
Let's finish this because we never.
I'll tell you what, it would be very irresponsible of me to tell you to pump all your crypto right now. Yeah, because it's going through the roof. I'm just looking at my bag right now.
Let me ask you a question real quick. What do you think about? Are your attraction level towards conservative or liberal men?
I'm definitely, I would have to say I'm attracted to conservative men. I think like in terms of having a family with someone, I think it would just be like a shit show if you both have very passionate ideas about separate parties whenever you're raising kids. And I don't agree with most of the things that liberals care for. So I definitely am more attracted to conservative men, and most conservative men are like, physically, I feel like what I would like.
Again, let me say it again. You guys can look this up if you don't believe me. So men with more upper body strength are less in favor of wealth redistribution. There is a study that shows this. If you guys want to look it up, okay, meaning stronger men are more conservative. It tends to be the case. All right. Anyway, do we have another?
No, I think we should also.
Actually, I want to ask Alina, what do you think about dating conservative versus liberal men?
Have you seen the memes I've been posting lately about how Lana Del Rey got married to the Gator Man?
Yeah.
That's my type. I like a good conservative Southern boy.
Yes. Beautiful.
Country boys. I love them.
So you're good with a gator hunter.
Oh, love.
Yes,
Nice.
yes.
And you already answered the question, Eden. You like the liberal men.
Instagram.
Okay.
No, that's not what I said.
Oh, what do you say?
I don't
Time out. Let's everybody let Eden speak. Go ahead.
actually. I don't base politics. Don't really play a factor in my relationships. I
Yeah.
just purely go off how they treat me.
So this is really interesting. Scott Galloway talked about this before too. How one of the reasons why people aren't hooking up as much is because of this liberal conservative divide. More men are leaning more to the right, more women are leaning more to the left, and because of that, it used to be, and I don't remember going on dates in the 1990s or the 2000s where I asked a girl what her political affiliation. I didn't care, but now it does seem to be a thing. It's very, are you? Dude, the pro or anti-vax thing was a big thing. People going on dates. It was even on the dating apps when people were swiping. That was, and it listed your political affiliation by doing so, right? And religion, those kind of things. I don't remember caring that much. Although I got to be honest with you, 20 years ago, we didn't care about body count either. Like these things, these were different considerations that we have. And now your political affiliation tends to be really, really important. I do think you can be hot enough to get over being liberal. I do think that's just my personal opinion. If you're hot enough, I can get over. Yeah, well, really, yeah. Because socialism
I'm
great.
gonna sell out a friend of mine, and she's probably okay with it because she knows I love her. No, in my old band Trial of Ascension when I was in Reno, Livy, our first original singer, she was a school teacher, special ed. She very liberal, very socialism. I mean, really, and I didn't really understand why she was that way until I realized that she was a teacher, and we pay our teachers like shit, right? And so yeah, I can understand why colleges and schools and stuff that are predominantly run by women, right, where we're just talking about how there's so few men in education these days, how that would almost seem like a good idea, like wealth redistribution, we should be paid, and they should be paid more. They do a lot of fucking work, right? And then she so I've known her for probably about 5 years now, and then she met the guy who is now her husband, and he was I don't know if he was a captain in the Air Force, but he was in the air. He's a military guy, Air Force. And then suddenly I realized that her political ideology starts to change a little bit more, and she becomes a little bit more open to sort of conservative discussions, let's just say, having talks. She already knew who I was. She already knew what I did, and at first she was kind of like standoffish about it, but then she's kind of like, I understand what you're trying to do for men now. And then so I'm not going to say she sort of made this transition from being liberal into being conservative, but she certainly has much more conservative views as a result of being with a guy who is in the military, whose friends are very much conservative. And now she's, I don't know who she voted for on this round, but I thought it was interesting that I think one of the things that a lot of political ideologists, liberals, conservatives think is that that if a woman and a man get together, the woman tends to adopt the political ideology of the man. And I have seen that firsthand. I've seen that happen. So when we say like, oh, I like a guy who is more conservative, I like a guy who's more dominant, like he has the sort of conventional traits of masculinity that women are looking for from an evolutionary, a manly man. Looking for a guy, family man, a leader, right? And then so what do those traits bring along with that, right? Is a guy who is like that going to be more conservative? Is a guy like that going to vote in a particular way? And if that's the case, is that woman going to fall in love with him and really want that so much that she's going to go, you know what, maybe he's right about a few things. Maybe I'm going to change my mind about a few things, either to be more compatible with that guy, or maybe she genuinely has sort of a change of heart.
I love it. Okay, now the question you asked a second ago.
Yeah, where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here? Where do you think we go? I'm going to ask you as the incumbent is now
Nico
lost.
Sushi.
Where do we go from here?
I'm going to be honest. I don't see a big change in my daily life depending on the president. So,
I see like your gas prices going down, or like
maybe
the fact that like
I don't pay for many things on my own.
So much better.
So that might be why I'm so liberal. I never noticed what the tab is. It gets paid, but
that's called having boobs.
That's called having boobs.
I don't know.
Like even listen, I live in Las Vegas. I can say this.
Victoria's
That's called
Secret.
having boobs.
Victoria's
That's how
Secret
the tab always gets paid.
It's already been paid for you. It's free.
Maybe that's why I have
Rolo, I don't know what my rent is. I don't know why.
That's
I have boobs.
Can I actually say something though?
Go ahead.
So I'm a first time home buyer. I'm having a home built for me actually. It's finished being built in February, and regardless of having over an 800 credit score, I've worked my ass off to have that, and I'm putting 20% down and putting over $120,000 down on my home. It doesn't matter. My interest rate is still 7% because our fucking economy is shit. So I am going to feel a difference on who is elected president, because come February 5th, if Donald Trump, I pray to God, if he, goes through an inauguration and he's our elected president, then I'm not going to have to my home payment isn't going to be over $4,000 a month, when realistically, if the interest rates go back down to what they were whenever he was our president, I'm maybe looking at a $2,700 a month rent payment, which I'm actually paying right now for a 2-bedroom apartment.
Wow, Vegas is so cheap.
I mean,
Vegas is so cheap.
It used to be even more cheap whenever he was president before.
My
This
rent
is
is like
high for us.
$5,000.
Yeah,
Move here
it's
if you
high
need a real
for us.
estate agent.
I'm paying $2,500 for a 722 square foot.
Yeah, that's ass. I used to live in a high rise and it was the same thing.
Yeah,
So I can't.
Same.
So even I'm it sucks. I don't want to put that much down. That's literally everything I have, but I'm going to do it. So I'm not paying $5 or $6 grand a month for a home. And so it basically just goes to show you can work your ass off and be a good person, be a good American, pay your bills, do everything right. I have over an 800 credit score and I'm still screwed with an interest rate because our economy is shit.
I also have to add something, if you don't mind, besides housing. I definitely agree with you, and that's amazing that you're buying a first home. As someone
We can
who's
still own shit.
inspiring, as someone who's someone who's inspiring to be you. I live in California. It's a little harder to buy a house there, but I want to talk about inflation, as you mentioned in general.
Hold on. Why do you still live in California? You're you don't smoke cigarettes. You're not fat.
My heart is
I don't
there.
understand. You're
heart.
actually in shape. Why do you live in California?
My
I don't understand.
family,
Okay.
my love, my life, but it's hard to move someone that lived his whole life to Vegas.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting to the point of inflation again, which is very, very important to me to discuss about, because inflation is a very big deal for everyone in this country if it comes to gas prices or rent prices or grocery store prices. Or me, not as a homeowner, as an investor, I was very fortunate to make a lot of money as a young female, and I started investing like you've mentioned before. So I started with crypto. I did Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then I moved to gold, and then I did some stocks, and then I started studying how could I monetize making money, like currency trades, and how can I make my money work for me. And then I realized if Camilla per se gets elected, it's going to be even harder to not just make money and save my money on taxes. It's actually going to be really hard to invest, because not just that she doesn't support crypto and, a lot of stocks that per se, if Trump gets elected, he said for sure he will start drilling. So all of the drilling stocks will go eventually up, and everything, the whole economy is going to be so good. And when America is doing good, China is not a threat. Russia is not a threat. And all of the terror organizations as Hezbollah, as Hamas, as Iran, all of these countries are not a threat anymore. Having a strong, masculine, leader to the United States of America is so important, because a lot of countries are watching the US. We are the most important country in the world, and everyone knows that. And I'm so lucky to be living in this country. God bless this country. America is the best country in the world. And living in this country, looking at someone per se like Camilla being the president is going to be a joke. And people are going to watch us let's just say someone in Germany is going to watch the news and going to be like, that's the president of the United States of America? Where is their military? They don't even look scary anymore. This country, let's have China kill them. Let's have Russia and Putin. The only reason why Putin invaded Ukraine is because Trump is not the president. I'm being honest here. Trump and Putin are friends, and he respects Trump. And now when Biden was the president, because Biden looks like he's getting a stroke every time he gives the speech.
I do understand what you're saying. A couple hours ago,
I'm sorry.
Vladimir Putin endorsed Kamala Harris. I don't know if you saw this.
I wonder why.
That actually did happen.
Well, he wants Ukraine.
Of course, yeah, that's for sure.
That's all.
And the Republicans took the Senate.
And you know what's crazy,
Republicans
though,
took the
is
Senate.
If you pull up the Biden versus Trump,
Yeah.
Biden and Obama. Sorry, which I'm a Texan, so I hated Obama also. No big deal, but he was gross. But anyways. So like Obama versus like Trump.
I love her.
Like literally, like they were best friends, Trump and Putin, like you said. And then like, oh, what is it, Obama? Like his name, like literally you Google it and it's hysterical because like they're like not even friends. And like Trump, like he's a gangster. Like
He's
touched
a daddy.
yeah.
Trump is a daddy. Like Trump is so. I want my man to be that
Okay, guys.
strong.
Fox News now has them. Hold on.
He's so
Can you refresh Decision Desk real quick? Hold on, James. Can you refresh Decision Desk?
James Kilgore.
Can you refresh Decision Desk real quick? Okay, so
I'd marry
Fox
him.
News.
I would.
Fox News now
Look at his
has.
wife.
Guys, you're gonna want to hear this.
Yes,
Everybody, be quiet.
In that green dress.
Listen, Fox News now has the president or President Trump at 277.
Fucking A.
Wow.
So they're going past
God
what
bless America.
Decision Desk has right now.
Yeah, they're gonna have.
Still haven't.
That's probably Nevada.
Still don't know Nevada or
CNN is like on some other shit. Like they're like still at 246. I don't know what CNN is doing. I've refreshed CNN 12 times and they're still
You know
at
what Trump would say?
still at
Fake
246.
Jeez, what a landslide.
So we have
It should be way more.
It might
breaking.
still be.
So here we go on Fox News. Breaking: Donald Trump is projected to become the 47th president of the United States. That's on
Amen.
on Fox News. Like I said, hey, I called it. It was going to happen while we were on the air. And then let me see here.
You saw it right here on this show.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
Decision Desk.
And okay, DHS, can I now be off your list, please? Diverting hate, can you please like erase me from whatever you're supposed to have me on now? It's all over.
I mean, they're gonna have to call Wisconsin soon.
Can you leave me the fuck alone? Just CNN delaying the inevitable.
I'm going back to California tomorrow. Everyone in LA is crying. Everyone is crying.
Do we have any like videos of people crying? Because I would love to fucking see them.
Oh my god!
Can we show that?
You got to go to Harris's headquarters in Delaware. Probably.
Oh my
That'd be where they do it.
Change your laws, I'll change my taxes.
I mean, there's even people in San Francisco, LA that are like wearing MAGA gear and like getting out there and rallying for him. So that's just must show enough. It's California at that. So
it's never gonna get read there.
No, but I mean, the rallies and people.
Yeah, Decision Desk has called it. We already saw that a little while ago. Fox News has called it. Hold on. Let me see the AP. Hold on.
Associated Press.
Harris path grows less forgiving. Dude, some of these are way behind, but
yeah, of course.
AP is at 247, 214. Like that was 6 hours ago, buddy. Like, what are we doing?
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's really crazy to me. Hold on, let me see. Just CNN needs to wake up, bro. They are way behind.
They don't have any vested interest in wanting to call this too early.
Yeah, they want to keep them watching TV. That's crazy to me.
I would say it was. Hey, Fox must have given them Nevada to get to 277.
Yeah, it must be that. Hold on. Yeah, dude, I'm looking at them live on TV, bro. They're at 246 right now, live on CNN.
No, I know. I just went and looked.
That's
and
bonkers.
It said something else as well, but it's
187 for
because you
Kamala?
got 75% reporting. He's up by 4 points and growing. He's still only up by a point in Arizona, which will take till next Friday to finish the count.
Till next Friday, you're true.
92% in Wisconsin. They're going to have to call Wisconsin soon because there's only 8% left, and he's got a wider margin than he had in Pennsylvania when they called Pennsylvania. So Wisconsin should be decided any minute.
Rational redneck. I would pay any amount of money to see a live stream on the meltdown going on at CNN right now.
Like, what are they doing? No, I don't mind. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Let me see here.
I was gonna say I'm glad this election season's over finally because
He's
now
up
we
to-
can
he's
fucking
up
get
to
back
over
to
a
normal.
3-point.
I just
Over
feel like
3
the
points
level
on
of
Michigan.
hope
The
is
president.
really good.
He's about
Is he
to speak.
speaking?
He's about to speak. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't. Are we allowed to do
Let's turn
this?
him on.
How bad can this go on?
They've said soon for the last 30
Well,
minutes.
since we're both not monetized, I don't see
Yeah,
how
I
it
don't
can
like
get any
it
worse.
demonetized. I don't know if this
Said
would be
soon for
copyright.
the last 30 minutes.
But I think if you can keep us on the side like we're reacting to it, I think we'll be fine with this. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. But yeah, I'm looking at right now Fox News Live, and it looks like they've Fox News has gone to 277, like I said before. Yeah. Here we go.
Because that's
man, I don't know. What is CNN trying to do? Just keep. Yeah. Trump will address supporters at campaign event in Florida. Watch CNN. So we can watch on there.
I'll bet you MSNBC probably doesn't even have him at 100.
Let's take a look.
Oh my God.
Girls
would
I
be
literally
even
work
worse.
with are texting me right now about winning.
Oh, whoops, that's not good.
We're all nervous.
Was that the vodka?
Yeah.
Insane right now.
Kettle One.
We needed some champagne.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should.
Yes.
Gotta pop some champers.
DoorDash it.
Can you do that? I have no idea. I've never
Not
done
in,
that champagne.
not in Nevada, in California, yes.
I was gonna
but
say I thought
here
in Colorado you could
Not
do
booze.
that.
you can't.
I lived there briefly.
Yeah. They want
Very
you to go to the
briefly.
clubs to get your booze.
I'm looking at Rachel Maddow right now.
That's
Donald
right.
Trump to speak as supporter soon. Alabama projected winner. MSNBC is still running the 247, 194 number, but they are counting that the Republicans have won the Senate. So if MSNBC is saying it's true, then that means it's even worse than that.
Even worse than it seems.
I mean, they're up by 2, and they have
so
4 more
exciting.
potential pickups.
Yeah,
in the Senate. And it
see.
looks like they'll hold the House. They were projected to lose it about a half an hour to an hour ago.
I just want to hear what Mark Cuban. I'm sorry, Rachel Maddow. They look exactly the same. They look exactly the same. I'm sorry. I want to see what.
Will the real Mark Cuban, please?
Yeah. All right. So Trump HQ right here. I'm watching on Fox News. Over here, I'm looking at Fox News on YouTube. Maybe we can get away with this. We can show
go
Fox
for it.
News.
You want?
And actually, we'll do it in a little bit when he comes on. Say, or we could probably just end the show and everybody else could watch
I could
it.
share it. Yeah.
Yeah. This is pretty cool, man. I'm glad that I got to spend the time doing this with you.
This has actually been one of my favorite shows. This is one of my favorite shows. Yes.
Congratulations. Fucking jumping for joy right now.
I
You
know.
just cashed the hell out.
We're trying to contain ourselves.
Every week.
I
Yeah.
love this for you.
I'm afraid to ask how much money did you just make?
No tilt.
So funny.
Where do you bet? What app?
Uh-huh.
What platform?
It was all over
My
Instagram.
boy Scotty.
Where is Scotty?
Scotty's my boy.
We should be Instagram friends.
I can't believe this. This man.
We're gonna have sushi after this. Is everybody down?
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna stimulate the economy and pay less in taxes
Yes.
afterwards.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I can write it all off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's actually what I'm kind of hoping happens.
I'm in final.
Okay, so here's how it's gonna work. Ready? The
Last time it was like this.
Right,
and then
right. Well, that had to do with mail-in ballots because of COVID. Okay, so what's going to happen now is the certification of these elections. It won't be maybe today, tomorrow, the next day. I can't remember. It might actually, and then the Electoral College will happen after that, and then he won't be inaugurated obviously until next February. What'll happen is these news media organizations declaring him the winner. It doesn't mean anything. But they also don't want to be. But they also don't want to be wrong.
He needs to live under a rock until fucking January.
Yeah, because they gotta put him in president
Yeah.
every day and murder him.
So a couple of issues are aren't there still pending? So the sentencing for the felony counts was postponed until after the election. Isn't that correct? Is that still a thing?
Literally.
Look on Perplexity.
Trying to kill him and put him in president. That's all they try to
What
do.
Melania said when they asked her,
My brother, hey guys, before we can't hold on, stop. We can't go on without a quote from Patrick Sartain. You guys ready? Patrick Sartain. Everybody paying attention? Pay attention. Kamala's starting an OnlyFans now. Shout out to Patrick Sartain, political contributor. No relation to me, except that he's my brother. Yes, he is.
He's
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, you guys like Patrick?
Oh,
I know
my
you like
God.
Patrick. That was great. He came for my birthday. Awesome, man. Man, I like the energy. I don't even want to get off. Hey, guys, we have any more super chats?
No, that's it. We're gone. We're good.
Huh? It was madness. It was incredible. It reminded me why abstinence is so terrific. It really is great. There's way less work when you just don't pay attention to women, and there's 35 women at your birthday party. That's the only problem.
Congratulations.
Yes, I made it to 40. I made it to 47. That's great. I know. Nobody believes me.
No.
I
You do
know.
look younger.
I appreciate it. So actually, there's one thing I want to go over, which is by the swing states by swing state, because we were just looking at that right now. Let me go to Perplexity again. T.ai. Perplexity had the breakdown.
Most of the polls showed Harris up by 1 or tied.
The election. Here we go. Okay. I'm just going to go by swing states. Now, guys, these were all the swing states that were supposed to turn this election. And the ones that are certified now are going to be Georgia and North Carolina. Those are the only ones. So I'm going to go over just the ones that were certified. Arizona, he won by 1%, 19,000 votes with 51% of the 51% reported. Man, these motherfuckers are slow, bro. All right. Georgia, he won by 126,000 votes, 92% reporting. That's a 3% margin. For Michigan, he won by 6%, 259,000 votes with 56% reporting. Nevada, he won by 4 points. Guys, 46,000 votes. That means the people in this room actually had a little bit of something to do with it.
Yeah.
To win by 46,000 votes in Nevada with 78% reporting. North Carolina, this one is certified, or this one, they've called it with 100%. This is 3% of the vote. With 94% reporting. In Pennsylvania, he won with 3%. That's 193,000 votes. And with Wisconsin, he won by 4% with 124,000 votes with 73% reporting. So these are swing states. Arizona's 11, Georgia's 16. These are the electoral votes. Michigan's 15, Nevada is 6, North Carolina is 16, Pennsylvania is 19, and Wisconsin is 10. So giving him Pennsylvania, I think, is probably what put him over. The other places that have that are already called mathematically are Alabama. He's won. Arkansas. He's won. Harris has won. California, Colorado. California's 54 electoral votes. That's still crazy when you think about it. Harris won by 22% in California, 1.8 million votes, but that's only 45% counted. Colorado won by 12. Harris won. Connecticut by 8, Delaware by 14, and the District of Columbia, if there's ever been a reason to clean a fucking city up, Kamala Harris has won the District of Columbia by 85%. If there's one thing you need to know about a city being corrupt, also Florida, Trump won by 13%, 1.4 million votes. Won Georgia by 126 million, like we said before. Idaho, Trump won by 35%, 219,000 votes. Harris won Illinois. Trump won Indiana by 20%. Indiana by 20. But the Iowa one again. Iowa, he was down by 3 according to this pollster. And she's sitting there like, why would I ever have done this to myself? Maybe because you're a liberal. And Iowa is also a key. It's an early voting state. 95% of the vote in. Trump won by 14%, 216,000 votes. Kansas, 16%. Trump won. Kentucky, he won by 31%. Louisiana won by what's going on? Yeah. Louisiana won by 22%. Maine, Harris is only up by 9%. That's surprising. Maryland, 23 in Maine. That's crazy. It's a tight race in Maine.
Mason Rain and Minnesota.
Yeah. Massachusetts, Harris won by 26%. Michigan, Trump won by 6%. That was a big one, 266,000 votes. Yeah. Minnesota, Harris won by 4, or it's that's only with 87% reporting. Mississippi, 23% Trump. Missouri, 18% Trump. Montana, 17%. Nebraska, 19%. Nevada, Trump won by 5%. Well, with only 79% of the votes in, 50,000 votes is what he won by. Now, here we go. New Hampshire is 3%. New Jersey, 4% Harris. Both of these were Harris. New Mexico, Harris won by 6%. And New York.
Just 6%.
Well, this is crazy to me. New York, Harris won by 10%, 813,000 votes. I figured New York, she would have won in a landslide. That is really surprising.
That's tight. It's been a very, very long
That is
time.
really surprising. Harris only won by 10%. North Carolina, Trump won by 3%. That's actually surprising. I figured it would have been more than that. North Dakota, 36% for Donald Trump. Shout out to Caitlin Runk, who's watching this right now.
Yeah.
Ohio is 11%. Oklahoma, Trump won by 34%, 500,000 votes. Oregon was 200,000 votes, 12% for Harris. Pennsylvania, again, Trump won 3%. This is kind of a swing state here. This is a big one. 19 electoral votes. They won by 193,000 votes. Rhode Island, Harris by 13%. South Carolina, Trump won by 18. South Dakota, Trump won by 36. Same thing with North Dakota. Tennessee, Trump won by 30%.
Let's go, baby.
Texas, the greatest state in the union, Trump won by 15%, 1.5 million votes, with 92% reporting that is 40 electoral votes. So that cancels out part of the California. Utah, 19%, 137,000 votes. Vermont, Harris won by 31%. Virginia, Harris won by 5. Washington State, Harris won by 20, 500,000 votes. West Virginia, Trump won by 42%. That's pretty nuts. Wisconsin, Trump won by 4%. And the great state of Wyoming, Donald Trump won by 49%, won by 113,000 votes. So that's awesome here. If we could get, this is updated 13 seconds ago. I'm trying to see the totals here.
Well,
does anyone have the totals?
If he gets all the outstanding, if he gets the Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, he'll end up with 319.
All right.
Wow. 319. But what I'm saying is, as of right now, I'm looking for the popular vote.
It's 66.5 to 61.6. So it's about 5 million.
5 million more.
He's holding pretty steady, about 5 million.
And in the last election, though, we're in the 70s, right, for both sides?
Yeah, because of the mail-in ballots that were sent everywhere.
Yeah,
there was a much greater participation level because of the mail-in ballots.
Interesting. So we're not gonna get to 70 million for this one.
No. I think we're gonna get to probably 150 total, but it might be lower than that.
So 150. Well, that may be 75 for each side.
70. Well, yeah. The projection was Trump was going to get 75, and Kamala was going to get somewhere around 72 to 73.
So just for just so people understand, that's about 145 million people out of 330 million people who voted in this election. So, I mean, free and fair elections, that's pretty close. I mean, you imagine all the people.
It just shows message is really important because you got to motivate your base to come out.
Yeah, you do. And by the way, Barack Obama did an incredible job of motivating African Americans to come out in a super high margin. And Donald Trump, he actually, when you think about the coal miners in West Virginia and that type of individual, they felt disenfranchised, and he did a great job in 2016 of getting those individuals to vote. Mm-hmm. I think in this case, I think what we're going to find again, and I haven't seen these numbers yet, is that men. It's maybe they didn't go out in droves to vote for Trump. I think a lot of them did, but I think a lot of them just chose to not vote for Kamala Harris. And I think what we're going to find is African American and Hispanic men that could have been a key for them, and they just chose to not vote for Kamala Harris.
An interesting side note to the Hispanic vote is that this was the first time the Hispanic vote outdid the black vote in the United States.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow. And Trump got about 45% of the Hispanic vote.
That's amazing. Well, Chuck U. Schumer, guess what, buddy? You want to keep them coming in because a lot of them are Catholic, and they might vote for you. They might vote for you, but they're only going to do it once. They're only going to do it once, and then we got this other thing going on. I just want to see some people losing their mind. Honestly, at this point, I'm waiting for the
they're going to be out.
I want some. Yeah. Can we find some TikTok reaction videos or something like that?
I don't think it's as big as a shock this time, and he was already president once. So
it's not the shock; it's the delusion. I'm not looking, Jim. I agree with you. I'm not looking for the shock. I'm looking for the delusion. I did a debate yesterday where someone told me it was an 80% chance that Kamala Harris was going to win.
And who did you talk to?
It was PWF. Actually.
Of course it was.
It's Alex PWF.
Of course it was.
And I was just listening to this stuff.
What a shock.
And it was really interesting to me because when I brought up voter,
they just called Wisconsin.
Okay, beautiful. When I brought up voter ID, when I brought up trans, giving trans surgeries to illegal aliens and to people in prison, his response was, "I just don't care that much about those topics."
Yeah, that's what happens when you give credit to autistic children. Like,
I don't know. I mean, let's not go. We like Alex. Well, you don't. I like Alex. I like Alex just fine.
I mean, I don't want my text.
Okay, so hold on. I'm looking at the House. It's 190 to 166.
Yeah, there's going to be too many that are too close to call.
The only thing can I say to that is like they want to take our tax dollars to pay for people to transform their bodies. Okay, so pay for my tits, pay for some new tits.
Join the new.
I want your tax dollars to pay for some new tits.
So they do that in the U.S. Air Force, by the way. If you join the military, they actually do get free boob jobs. But there is one thing I do want to point out. So the whole thing about gender affirming care. Okay, if I am, there's studies. If you guys want to read The Happiness Hypothesis by Jonathan Haidt, highly recommend all of Jonathan Haidt's books. The Coddling of the American Mind. There's fantastic books. One of the things he talks about is there are actual legitimate studies that show that plastic surgery increases the self-esteem of women, and it does so for long periods of time. So women will get plastic surgery in 10 years after they get plastic surgery, they'll still report higher levels of self-esteem. So if you have that, I know no one's going to argue the point. That's not my point.
Oh no, I'm an advocate for plastic surgery. However, nobody paid for my plastic surgery.
You're making my point for me. Yeah. So what I'm saying here is if we're going to do gender affirming care, which includes surgery for prisoners, and we're doing so because of their self-esteem, then why don't we just start giving men TRT in prison, heterosexual men, and why don't we start giving women boob jobs in prison? Because I'm sorry, as absurd as that sounds, it is the exact same level of logic.
Same thing.
It is because what we're saying is your ability to change your gender. If we're saying is it has to do with your self-esteem, and what we're saying now is the way you feel is now a civil right. You feeling good is now a civil right.
It's mental health, and so my Blue Cross Blue Shield should cover my boob job because of the
yeah, again, but when we go into the whole,
I would just like to say real quick, with or without the government, as a woman, if you can't find someone to pay for your surgery, that's a skill issue.
It is.
Yeah, it's a skill issue.
Yeah.
We need you to come back and we want to talk about some different things.
There it is. Yes.
Again, can you guys move this way just a little bit? So the thing is,
My gender affirming care was
I love that.
sponsored.
Your gender, Eden's gender affirming dinners, gender affirming rent payment, gender affirming boob job, gender affirming. Yeah, it's like
I might need to take
Eden's
a
like,
class
I
from you,
don't know how much.
you know?
Eden's like, I don't know what my car payment is. What I know,
It's free.
I've got boobs.
I've
got boobs. You know what? You sound like a Republican to me. That's what you sound like.
You'll get there. We'll get you there.
We'll get you there
Yeah,
eventually.
maybe if I ever did have to pay for it, I would be more conservative.
Bro, let me tell you something. I'll start a business.
And I will, and that's one thing that's a talking point I don't claim to debate. As soon as all the finance and all that comes up, I don't know.
All I'm going to say is I paid my accountant $7,000 this year to do my taxes. I pay my accountant $7,000. I'm not talking about what my liability was. That's how much I paid my accountant to do my taxes.
Yeah.
When you run a business, bro, they come after you. So it's rough, and you come to the realization.
I think boob jobs should be paid for by taxpayer
Hey, let me tell you something.
because they increase human happiness.
Let me say something. I am not
Everyone's
married.
happier as a result.
I am not ready to die on this hill. There was a point where Barack Obama was interviewed and he said, you know what I'd be in favor of? A college football playoff. I was like, excuse me? Hello? What did I just hear? I like that. I like hearing that. And then I was joking. I was like, if Obamacare was included boob jobs, I'm be like, hey, you know what? Well, keep hope alive. Yeah. Be the change. Be the you would have, if Obamacare had paid for boob jobs, I would have taken my blue ass right there to the polling station. Are you kidding me? Oh, Lord Jesus. In the U.S. Air Force, by the way, because we have so many anesthesiologists. If you join the U.S. Air Force, they'll give you a boob job. Yeah. For free, 100%. Look it up. Don't even ask me. Go look it up right now.
Where can I sign up?
Huh?
Where can I sign up?
So you're gonna join the military.
Be very good one. No, they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
What's the easiest?
They won't get huge. They won't be huge. They'll give you a boob job.
So you can.
Did you? So what do you do now?
What?
What do you do now for a living?
Bottle service.
Okay, and that's how you paid for your boob job, or did you have a dude?
No. Okay.
No one's judging.
I pay for it myself. When I came here, so I moved here right out of high school. Like I said, I came from like nowhere. I think my graduating class was like 146 kids, small little town. I had the opportunity to come here. And then when I turned 19 years old, I paid for my own boobs and cash myself. No man's ever paid for plastic surgery for me. So that's why I have really like a hard time thinking whenever I work my ass off and I pay my taxes that I'm paying for some dude to get a pair of boobies when I paid for my boobies. That's not fair. I'm not here to pay for yours.
That's a good point.
Exactly. I know it is.
All right. If you ladies can come sit down, we're going to do something real quick before we go eat.
I'm kind of interested in that talking point because the trans friends I have personally, they paid out of their pockets.
Oh no, I'm sure that I think like
I feel like that's kind of one of those like propaganda.
No, and a lot of people do.
She said it.
Like in prison.
Yeah,
no, in prison.
We could pull up the interview. She says that she's going when she gets into office, she is going to be in charge of gender affirming surgeries for prisoners.
They already started it.
That was her. Those were her words.
In jail. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about.
Oh, look at it! Hey, can you show the camera? Show the camera here. Daddy's home. There we go. Nice. Beautiful.
That's
Listen,
amazing.
you know what? You know what? Kamala Harris. I'm gonna get in trouble for this one. I'm gonna get. Hold on, everybody, listen up.
We love it.
I'm gonna get canceled for this one. But Kamala Harris is about to get kicked out of government housing. She's black now. There's no confusion. She ain't Indonesian. She's black now. There's no confusion. All right, nice.
I don't want, but yeah, no. I have gay friends. One of my best friends growing up was gay. I still speak to him today. So I don't like, whenever I talk about these things, I don't mean to come off as transphobic or I don't appreciate gay people. No, a lot of people do pay out of pocket. What I was specifically talking about was the exact interview that they're speaking of, where she literally said taxpayers' dollars are going to pay for gender reassignment surgeries in prison. There are people,
and also illegal immigrants illegal immigrants that are
or just
incarcerated are also going to get gender affirming gender affirming. And she said the word surgery. She did not say gender affirming care. She said surgery.
Or that, or the fact that they get like all these incentives as a first time home buyer, and it's like, I'm sorry, I was born here, I was raised here, and I don't get shit.
Doesn't Nevada have a first time home buyer?
Here's the thing.
I was gonna say, doesn't Nevada have a first time home buyer program?
If you put, no, it's only an incentive if you like, it's basically the incentive that you can put like 10% or like 5% down. I'm not doing that. I'm putting 20% down and I'm still getting screwed. So,
yeah.
No, there's
because the interest rate.
No, it's not. If I were to put 10% down where I said my house payment's going to be along the lines of $4,000, if I only put 10% down, you're probably looking at around like a $6,000 house payment. I'm sorry, even though I make good money, like I'm not going to do that to myself. So no, that's always been a thing. If you're a first time home buyer, what is it? 10%? You can put 10% down. I don't want to pay PMI, so I'm going to put 20%.
I'm retired Air Force, so I just go get a VA loan. So I have no idea. I don't know.
So I'm just talking to the wrong person.
You know what I'm saying?
Here,
I pay too much in taxes. I don't have any cash. I can't buy anything. Let's see here. What do we have here? Kamala left an hour. Okay, what is he saying here? Apparently the people at the Kamala celebration party are leaving, many in tears. Laugh out loud, rolling on the floor, laughing my ass off. LOL, Kamala left an hour and a half ago. Okay, well that's I don't know how that works. I'm really interested. I'm really interested to see some of the cope that people have. You know, I honestly,
she's going to have to give a concession.
I said this before. She doesn't have to do anything. She doesn't have to give a. I don't think she will.
She won't.
What accent will she use?
Yeah, which accent will she use? Well, again, she just got kicked out of government housing, so she's going to use a black accent. So here's the thing. I said before, I didn't know who's going to win the election. And the reason why is because everything I'd seen told me that Trump was going to win, but I also knew that these algorithms put me in an echo chamber. So I didn't know what was real. And then I would talk to people who were outside of my echo chamber, like Alex yesterday, and it was like 80% chance that Harris was going to win. So it was like, okay, either I'm stuck in this echo chamber or you're in a different echo chamber, and now these algorithms are teaching you something that they're not teaching me. And what I'm seeing today seems a little bit more of a what's the word I'm looking? A referendum by the American people on this inflation, on the attitudes towards probably Israel and Ukraine, on the attitudes towards masculinity, on the attitudes towards reproductive rights, on the attitudes towards several of those things. And by the way, what was it? Scott Galloway said this: is most men in this country are not against women having the right to reproductive rights. Most men are not against that. The thing is, though, what's happened is it was Gad Saad who said this. It was like that was the leading indicator, or that was the leading issue for women. And like, I understand you doing that to get a certain part of your base riled up, but I don't know how you're going to get swing voters to like Roe versus Wade was repealed and therefore I'm going to not vote for Trump. I don't know that really, at least that message didn't work. And I will say one other thing. The Republican Party did an incredible job of making it kind of seem a little gay to vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Hold on, just if you guys agree with me, the white guys for Trump thing, I feel like the Republican Party did a really good job with the messaging to make it feel like it was a little weird for a heterosexual dude to support Kamala Harris. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying they did a good job of it. And so I don't know how much that counts or how much that means. There's Vivek right there. Oh, you see Vivek standing next to
wow. You know, when it gets down to it, the two simplest things was, the economy. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Do you feel safer than you were 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Right track, wrong track. Yeah, is the best indicator of an incumbent getting reelected.
I'm interested to see in the end when they do these exit polls where was I definitely agree. Economy is number one. Where was the border and the crime that? So
It
when we
was
talk
mostly
about
number two,
right? So
for
when we talk about Kamala likes to worm out of, yeah, I wasn't the border czar, but she was in charge of trying to quell crime at the border, and she didn't do her job.
Absolutely.
Okay, regardless if she wasn't the border czar, she wasn't the head of the DHS or INS.
she
Yeah, I
was a
agreed, she
Mayorkas.
wasn't. But she was the vice president of the United States, and she was tasked with figuring out ways to reduce crime at the border, reduce violence at the border, and she didn't do her job. One more time, I'm going to say two things. I'm supposed to believe that you're going to fix the border when you didn't fix the border previously, and I'm supposed to believe you're going to fix inflation when you won't even take responsibility for the inflation you're currently responsible for. Right. I'm supposed to trust you to fix it. That's a really hard ask for me. And I like, by the way, I'm not 10 out of 10 for Trump. I'm 7.5 out of 10 for Trump. I like Trump. I do. As far as an entertainer, fucking amazing. I wish I was as good a speaker as him.
He knows how to run a campaign.
I wish I was as good a speaker as Donald Trump. But as far as like, I like him. Anybody out there is like, I'm 10 out of 10. I support Trump. You got to back off, bro. No political candidate you should, unless it's your dad, you should never be 10 out of 10 in favor of any political candidate. You should be. You could. The reason why is because you want to expect better. I hope that the Democrats expect better from Donald Trump, and I hope the Republicans expect better from Donald Trump. And I don't mean better as if he's doing a bad job because he's not in office yet, but we should always expect better from our politicians. We should never be so in love with them to think that they can do no wrong. Like one of the things I appreciated was Elon Musk criticizing Donald Trump's policies on tariffs. If you just start doing ad hoc tariffs, you're going to end up in a situation where you're going to destroy supply chains, and we will for real have inflation in case that happens. I absolutely agree that Ukraine has the right to defend themselves. And I don't agree with the idea that Russia has the right to invade Ukraine. But I do agree with the idea that, I'm going to say this real quick. This is going to piss a lot of people off. I'll get everybody mad at me. The idea that had Trump been in office, that Ukraine would not have been invaded by Russia is preposterous.
Nonsense.
The idea that had Ukraine decided to sell their oil to Germany, that Russia wasn't going to invade, you are not thinking clearly. I know you're friends with Vladimir Putin, but unfortunately he endorsed Kamala Harris today. Yeah. Right. So when you see that whole concept, I also disagree with the idea that Donald Trump was going to let Kiev fall and then for somehow have a city that's 8 hours away from Berlin, Germany, somehow not send any aid. I think that's a little ridiculous. But I am also interested to see what happens to the spending that the United States sends to Ukraine in order to try for them to try to defend themselves.
I'm very interested to see what happens to people like Lauren Chen and Tim Pool and all these people who are taking Russian money for their influence. Also, the people who have been spending inordinate amounts of money, like Progressive Victory, a PAC spending money on people like Jasmine Jafar and Destiny and all these other guys who are now, of course, this, like you said, this is a referendum, and now it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here. I was saying this, I was asking, where do we go from here? I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get back to like some real conversations instead of this bullshit back and forth sniping at each other. I'm hoping we can pull ourselves away and pivot back to some real substantial topics and we really want to talk about intersexual dynamics. We want to talk about it's no longer about culture wars. It's no longer about social issues and stuff like that. Maybe we can finally get back to where we actually need to be. And I was mentioning this back in March of 2021 on Myron and Fresh's show on Fresh and Fit. And I said, look, I hope that the red pill doesn't go mainstream because a lot of people come into the niche and then they got no business being here. And now that we've gone through about 18 months of this buildup to the election, as I was saying before, I've been put on a DHS watch list. I've been on the NGO, Diverting Hate. I'm hoping that things actually go back to normal, or people maybe we get off of that list. Maybe there's no more funding through the DHS as a result of this. Yeah. But all of that effort, all of that time, all of that bullshit that you put me through, you put Aaron Clary through, you put Rich Cooper through, you put everybody else through, it comes to nothing now.
Yeah, in the end, it does come to nothing.
You fucking lose.
The other thing is, though, I will say this: part of this is our responsibility too. Like I'm not going. I am, like I said, me personally. I've been reaching out to other people on the other side of the aisle because I want to start having a conversation with them. If we do it on Twitter Spaces,
do we now confront Scott Galloway and say, well, it looks like the American people want that tough guy masculinity instead of this
but the other thing is
bullshit
the other
that
thing
you
is,
thought was so important.
if anything, Scott Galloway's a champion because he tried to warn them. If anybody tried to warn the Democrat Party, it was Scott Galloway. It looks professorial at this point. He was right when everyone else was wrong. He acted like it was. He told everyone it was a big deal that the Democrats had forgotten men, and now it turns out that the American people have forgotten the Democrats. That's essentially what's happened. All right, beautiful, ladies. You go ahead. You want to? What do you think about the show?
This is a great one.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great. I think it's a great show too. Emily.
I think we had a good discussion, and I'm happy the right side won.
Yes. Yay. Beautiful, beautiful. Mia.
It was a pleasure. I'm glad I came all the way to Vegas just for this. We've been wanting to do this podcast for a while, and I finally made it. And I am happy that Trump is the president of the United States of America.
There we go. There we go. Awesome.
I think it was great. I was very excited to come on here because I feel like this was probably one of the most important or influential elections that I'm going to experience in my lifetime. So to be able to sit here and discuss everything with you guys, I was like very honored to be here. So thank you.
Love it. Hey, we'd love to have you guys come back. It's your first time for the three of you guys coming on the show. Awesome. Alina, you're our elder statesman. You've been on the show 17 times.
I know.
Thank you. What a monumental event. I'm happy to be here with all of you to experience this moment.
Yes, incredible. Sean?
Yes.
Like
just being able to talk about politics and not feel scared to, talk about subject matter that is normally taboo, I think is a really good thing.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
I had a great time too.
You did? You had a good time?
Yeah.
Is this how you saw this ending?
It could have gone either way for me.
Hey, listen, he's going to be your president too. Hopefully, hopefully, right? We got to make it. We got to make it to February.
All come out in the wash.
We got to make it to February, right? Hey guys, thank you all so much for watching. We've got another episode of Access Vegas coming up in 2 weeks. We're going to do
21st.
The 21st, a little bit more than 2 weeks. We're going to do that one, and then the following one after that is going to be December 11th. And during the December 11th one, it's going to be. The president is actually coming out to speak right now. Can we put that up?
Yeah.
Can you go to Fox? Can we go to Fox News and put it up? That way it's not on YouTube. Can we go to foxnews.com and put it up?
Yeah.
Try.
Daddy's home.
We're so happy here at Michael's podcast.
Yeah, just right here. Just right here. Put that.
I know she's not going to say anything.
Wait till he comes up. Maybe we'll do this. Maybe I don't want to do this because there's certain copyright issues with YouTube. But I think this might be fair use since it's the every single station in the world is watching. Go ahead. Can we put this up?
I think so.
Down. I feel like the most beautiful first lady we've ever had in office.
Can we put that up on the screen? Awesome. Can we put the audio on? Favorite song.
Like six, I think he said. Because she's tall too. And Trump's 6'2".
Listen, you guys already monetized me. Screw it. Let's run with this for a second. Can you keep us in the bottom? Yeah, thank you. Keep us in the corner. Hey, YouTube, we are reacting to this. We are reacting. Okay, I just want to make sure absolutely clear. That's a pretty cool trick. He did 45 and 47. He's the 45th and 47th president. I mean, I feel like Roosevelt had a pretty good one. How old is he now? President Trump is 78 years old. Yeah. He's 78. No, Biden is 82. I believe Biden's 82 or 83.
Something like that.
I believe Donald Trump will be 82 or 83 years old when his term is over. Bro, I'm looking at the chat for
exploding.
There are 800,000 people watching on Fox News right now.
I
like how he
There are
plays
900,000 people watching on Fox News right now. Live.
I like how he plays this, kind of music, and the other one played Cardi B.
Yeah, Cardi B. Yeah.
Taking acid.
Hey, listen, you know who likes Cardi B's beats? Me. I love that shit. That shit is awesome. These hoes, they for everybody. But my point is, she shouldn't be at a presidential rally, you know?
Thank you very much. Wow.
Right.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And
can you make us bigger in the corner, Trevor?
Frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
He's like, okay, I'm going off script.
But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day, I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again. And in addition to having won the battleground states of North Carolina, I love these places. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. We are now winning in Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Alaska, which would result in us carrying at least 315 electoral votes. But it's much easier doing what the networks did or whoever called it, because there was no other path. There was no other path to victory. We also have won the popular vote. That was great. Very proud of that. Thank you very much. Winning the popular vote was very nice, very nice, I will tell you. It's a great feeling of love. We have a great feeling of love in this very large room with unbelievable people standing by my side. These people have been incredible. They've made the journey with me, and we're going to make you very happy. We're going to make you very proud of your vote. I hope that you're going to be looking back someday and say that was one of the truly important moments of my life when I voted for this group of people beyond the president, this group of great people. America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate. We have taken back control of the Senate. Wow, that's good.
Wow. That's significant.
on the Senate races in Montana, Nevada, Texas, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, were all won by the MAGA movement. They helped so much. And in those cases, every one of them, we worked with the senators. They were tough races. And I mean, the number of victories in the Senate was absolutely incredible. And we did tele-rallies. We did tele-rallies with each one of them. And sometimes we did 2 or 3 and it was amazing to look at all of those victories. Nobody expected that, nobody. So I just wanted to thank you very much for that. And you have some great senators and some great new senators. And it also looks like we'll be keeping control of the House of Representatives. And I want to thank Mike Johnson. I think he's doing a terrific job. Terrific job. I want to also thank my beautiful wife, Melania, First Lady. Who has the #1 best-selling book in the country. Can you believe that? Oh, no, she's done a great job. Works very hard to help people. So I just want to thank her. But I want to thank my whole family, my amazing children, and they are amazing children. Now, we all think our children are amazing. Everybody here thinks their children are amazing, but that's a good thing when you think they are. But Don, Eric, Ivanka, Tiffany, Barron, Laura, Jared, Kimberly, Michael, thank you all. What a help.
Those are the kids, and those are the husbands and wives of the kids. Yeah.
My father-in-law, Victor, is tremendous. And we miss very much Melania's mother, Amalia. We miss Amalia, don't we, huh? She would be very happy right now, standing on this stage. She'd be so proud. She was a great woman, that one. Beautiful inside and out. She was a great woman. I want to be the first to congratulate our great, now I can say, Vice President-elect of the United States, and his absolutely remarkable and beautiful wife, Usha Bez. And he is a feisty guy, isn't he? To the enemy camp. And you know, the enemy camp is certain networks. And a lot of people don't like to, sir, do I have to do that? He just goes, okay. Which one? CNN, MSDNC? He'll say,
MSDNC.
Thank you very much. He actually looks like he's like the only guy I've ever seen. He really looks forward to it, and then he just goes and absolutely obliterates them. Say a couple of words here.
He did do a good job campaigning.
He's a great speaker.
Great. He's awesome.
For sure.
I really like him.
Well, Mr. President, I appreciate you allowing me to join you on this incredible journey. I thank you for the trust that you placed in me. And I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America.
There you go.
And under President Trump's leadership, we're never going to stop fighting for you, for your dreams, for the future of your children. And after the greatest political comeback in American history, we're going to lead the greatest economic comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
Thank you very much. He's turned out to be a good choice. I took a little heat at the beginning. He was. I knew the brain was a good one, about as good as it gets. And we love the family, and we're going to have a great 4 years, and we're going to turn our country around, make it something very special. It lost that little thing called special. We have to make it so. We're going to make this so great. It's the greatest country, and potentially the greatest country in the world by far. And right now, we're going to just work very hard to get all of that back. We're going to make it the best it's ever been. We can do that. If we had to wait longer, I don't know. It was going bad, and it was going bad fast. We're going to have to seal up those borders, and we're going to have to let people come into our country. We want people to come back in, but we have to let them come back in, but they have to come in legally. Let me also express my tremendous appreciation for Susie and Chris, the job you did. Susie, come here. Come here, Susie. Chris, come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay sort of in the back, let me tell you.
Yeah, we should go. All right, Travis. Awesome. Hey, guys, thank you guys so much. We're going to get out of here. Thank you all for joining us. We will see all of you on the November 21st, and we will see you again on December 11th, which is going to be the day before Babes in Toyland. We're doing Babes in Toyland. We're going to be helping Monday's Dark.
That'll be our Christmas show.
That'll be the charity that helps every single charity raise $10,000 every other week for a different charity here in Las Vegas. So we're going to be supporting Monday's Dark. December 5th, I'm going to be hosting Babes in Toyland. We're going to be doing that for the Midnight Mission. It's a homeless shelter in Los Angeles. That's going to be in Los Angeles on December 5th if you guys want to come out to that. And November 30th, I'm going to be the host for the Teddy Ball in San Diego, California. The Teddy Ball is we're going to be collecting stuffed animals for children in orphanages, children in cancer units, just tons of stuffed animals for children, and we're also going to be donating money to them. So if you guys are interested in coming to any of those things, just message me on Instagram. I will see you guys soon, and I will see the rest of you on November 21st.
Bye, guys. Thanks for coming. Great show.